Hello, it is, of course, another Tuesday, which means it's time for another in real life video. And this week we're doing another one of our silly, stupid little ranking videos, wherein oftentimes gentle viewers such as you will submit requests for me to rank something silly and stupid. And in this case, it's not so much that this one was directly and explicitly sent in, though maybe it was. But at the very least, the impetus for this week's IRL video and ranking video is that it just dovetails really nicely into something we previously covered. That being, a few months ago, we ranked every single armor set as it appeared in the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Anniversary Edition. And this time we're going to do that for the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion, but also we're going to not only include the DLC, the various armor sets included with the DLC, but we're also going to take a look at the remastered armor sets, because there are some differences, and it's fun to sort of compare and contrast now that we're about a little over a year out from the release of Oblivion Remastered, and especially, while it's still fresh in everyone's minds. Anyway, however, if you'd like to submit your own request for a ranking video such as this one, or even just some sort of nondescript question, which we oftentimes try to alternate between these, answering a question or doing a ranking video. But either way, you can submit in the comments below. Helps a whole bunch if on both counts you include a question mark. That way I can easily sort through it. YouTube's got a new filter situation that seems to be working pretty well nowadays, but filters out questions and lets me see them very quickly and easily whenever I'm getting my spreadsheet loaded up to enter a whole bunch of new entries into it. Anyway, without further ado, we'll do a quick cut here as we swap into picture-in-picture mode. I've got another tier list, tier maker situation loaded up. This one actually took me quite a bit. It took me quite a bit of time to put together. We're talking probably 3+ hours, maybe 4+ hours, just to put this together. It was a pain in the butt to find all of these images. Oh, and as per usual, well, actually not as per usual. This week, predominantly most of the images used are from the illustrious uesp.net, but not all of them. Like I said, some of these images were very difficult to find. I think a small chunk are from, actually, believe it or not, the fandom site, which still has up some of the older images and some of the newer ones, right? It was a mixed bag being able to find images from original Oblivion versus the remaster. And also, I think there were a couple instances where I just did straight up an image search and I just had to yoink something off of Reddit, or there's one case where I had to take a still directly from our Oblivion Remastered playthrough. I think there was another one where someone had a Flickr from years ago for original Oblivion that I took something from. So, just having it all on the open. It was a pain in the butt. Anyway, without further ado, we'll do a quick cut here. All right, and we are back. Sorry about that. Now, as you can see down here, there are quite a few of these entries that we have to get through, right? I want to say there's how many are there per row here? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Oh my gosh. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 55, 6, 7, 8. 58 of these entries that we have to get through. Now, mind you, almost all of them are doubled on account of there being versions from original Oblivion and Oblivion Remastered. We will be ranking them all. This is all inclusive. These are only full sets of armor. We're also excluding sets which are effectively just palette swaps, but we'll keep in at least one of them, in particular, anything noteworthy. In particular, you can see right here next to my head, the raiment of valor, that being the arena raiments, right? Those are, for the most part, just palette swaps. There's blue team, yellow team, and then the big one that you get at the end, right? for the most part, they're all identical except for some color shifts. So we're looking at the most interestingly colored of them all, that being the one that you get at the end. And there's a few other instances of this, like there's the Murag Tong armor, which I believe looks identical to leather. There's also like a version of the Shrouded, like Dark Brotherhood armor. There's two different color palette swaps of it. I want to say there's some more of it, but regardless, fairly all-inclusive list here. Some of it may be a little bit more unnecessary than you would think, but we'll get into it. And of course, also, Oblivion is coming from like a point in time where there were a few sets of equipment that had some notable, like, significant differences between the like masculine and feminine form, which is why you see some of these doubled up. It occurs less so in the remaster, but it occurs like a decent, not all the time, but a decent chunk of the time in original Oblivion, right? It still does occur in the remaster, right, with like the Golden Saint and Dark Seducer equipment, but that's neither here nor there. When we get to it, we'll get to it. But for now, let's start in the more mundane realm of things, right? Let's start on Mundus. Let's begin with things that occur in the core game, right? How about we start with some of the more like banal armor, the like starter equipment and all of that good stuff. How about we get started with just iron, right? Here we have iron. Let's see. I also have available to me, let me see if I can pull this up. Let's see. I'm going to have to move this over like so. And then we should be able to pull this up to get a closer look at everything. Right? Because these are quite small, and I don't know about you, but I'm not going to be able to remember all this. All right. So now if I open these, let's see, should open it with GIMP, if you're familiar with that, one of the free options for Photoshop. I've used it for years. All right, let's see here. Move this on over, and this, can I like drag that right there? No, I cannot. Okay, well, what a fool I am. How about this? Like so. Perfect. Okay, we got an extra one though. There we are. Okay. So we're looking at iron. Let's start by checking out, try some of that, like so. Is that good? Yeah, that looks good. Okay, we've got iron here. we're making it work. There's a lot of information that we have to get through here. Okay. So we got iron. We're starting with iron. We'll start with, I guess, original iron. Now, speak of the devil, original iron is one of those armor sets that we were talking about, wherein there actually are some significant differences between the masculine and feminine form. As you can see, Oblivion, like I said, it's from this era of video games where this happened a lot. It was just beginning to sort of, well, I don't know. I would say the interesting thing about Oblivion's armor is that Morrowind doesn't have much of this dichotomy where there's differences between how armor appears on the masculine or feminine form. Morrowind did it to where if your character wanted to wear a dress, you would have to find an item in the world called a dress. And if you wore it, if your character was masculine or feminine, you were wearing a dress. Right? If you wanted to wear pants, you found pants, you equipped the pants, your character is wearing pants. They get back to this with Skyrim. But there are some differences here. We use clothing as an example, but that does sort of exist in Oblivion. But here, there wouldn't be, in Morrowind nor Skyrim, iron armor looks fairly similar. We'll get into that with the remaster, which the remaster is a lot more adherent to the successor and predecessor. But in Oblivion, for instance, if you're dealing with iron armor, and there's a few different variations, there's like the rusted iron armor. But in OG Oblivion, back in the day, you had these two types, where you can see already, it's even more so, like, the most obvious part is the V-neck, right? Apologies as well. I'm not versed in, like, armor. This is not this is very subjective. This is a very vibes-based list, right? To be clear. Let's just get that out of the way at the top. Very vibes-based. I don't know anything about armor. I do know a thing or two about menswear. But I don't know absolutely anything about smithing, armor, leather working, any sort of stuff like that. But hey, we're going with it. It's going to be fun. Now, like I had said, here we've got the most obvious thing is the V-neck, followed by like the titty boulder holders. But it's even more so than that is going on with the masculine versus feminine versions of the equipment, right? The shoulders are shaped differently, and this happens a whole lot. But there's also additional points of, I would say, articulation. Here, I can use my pencil stuff here. See, you see that right there in the abdomen for the feminine version, whereas that does not exist in the masculine one, right? Doesn't exist there. Also of note, the belt. There's a very obvious buckle, and you can see how it's like leaning toward the character's left hand, the shield arm. Whereas it looks like this is a belt, but there's not nearly as much detail on the feminine version, right? Also, the sleeves maybe have additional coverage. I can't quite be sure. There's this leather piece right there, which looks very nice. It gives the illusion of it being layered. I like that a lot. Below the waist, it's all kinds of chaos. Chaos exists here. We have entered the Shivering Isles perhaps a lot earlier than we were expecting, because here we have this cool sort of like diverted, I don't know what these are called, cusses, and I don't know what these are called, these little fun flaps to protect your sort of upper thigh area / crotch zone. You know, seems very useful. The fact that it has these little hinges here that imply like some amount of articulation, very useful, very nice. The details super cool and fun. You can see there's as well this sort of undergarment, this gambizin, I don't know what it's called, I don't know, this like Under Armour pants situation does not exist whatsoever for the feminine form. Doesn't exist whatsoever. Instead, you get all of this like weirdly asymmetrical situation going on and a gigantic like skirt or kilt or whatever. It looks really bad. I think it looks so bad. I think the feminine version looks absolutely abhorrent. The masculine version, I think, is the far superior one when it comes to like basic ass iron. You get additional cool layering up top. You get these fun hinges here, which are, as you can see, completely missing, right? They're completely missing. And as well, on the feminine version, check this out. There's these little doohickeys right here, sort of brushing down off the shoulders. Where are they on the masculine version? Who can say? I don't know. You can see them all there, right? I don't know. I really do not like the feminine version, and I am going to rank them as sort of a whole. The masculine version, I would say, is maybe like, shoot, I would maybe say it's like a B, but the feminine version is so atrocious. It is extremely hideous. It's bad to look at aesthetically. If we're just going like, oh, this is fun fantasy armor. Looks horrible. Doesn't have nearly enough like cool straps and buckles and stuff on it. If we're going like, you know, this is meant to be more practical, I should say. The practicality of it doesn't fucking make sense with these big open areas. You're missing out some pieces, right? Like check out here on the masculine form's right arm. You got that little situation, that little like buckle or bracer or whatever, like elbow pad. completely missing there. Completely missing. Maybe it's a different type of gauntlet. It's like bracers instead. Either way, there's such a huge difference between these. And as far as it being like visually appealing, like, okay, we sacrificed function for form. You know, it's meant to look kind of sexy. I would say I don't think so. I would say you failed at that one. if you just wanted to make it to where this was like some sexy titty armor, I think it's not. I think you're wrong. I think you're fucking tripping on skooma, brother. In which case, I'm going to give it a C rank, sort of balance out the B rank that I think the masculine form would go to, and the D rank that I would unabashedly place upon the feminine version. Now, we have the kind that appears in the remaster. Let's bring this up as a point of comparison, right? And like I said, in the remaster, there is an extreme amount of parity between the different equipment. I personally will just get it out of the way. I do actually think a lot of the remaster did some fantastic stuff for like zooshing up and making the equipment look a lot better. You know, I do have hangups with some of the environment, in particular, like the unnatural parts of the environment, like constructed man-made things or elf-made or beast folk-made, you know. I do have hangups with some parts of that looking very different. But I think that the armor is one of the strong points in addition to like the natural world. I think that's one of the strongest points. And here the iron armor looks good. It looks like some fantastic starting equipment. You know, I like how there's like the little bits of battle damage already. There's like some denting. It's got like, it's a bit darkened around the like neck area. And just as there was in the past, right, you can sort of see them mimicking a lot of the like, oh, here's this leather piece showing up around the neck, right? There that is. Remember the little elbow pad we had mentioned before, right? And they sort of combined the best of both worlds here. I do wonder how like flexible this whole chainmail situation here is, right? But they have both these little doohickeys hanging off the side, right? And crucially, they're attached by leather with like some rivets or whatever, right? Here, it's hard to discern, right? If this is leather, this belt is leather, then what is that right there? What is that? What is it? It looks like a penis. But what is this material meant to be? I don't know. Here, whether or not it should be leather is irrelevant. It looks like leather. It looks good, especially with the blue sheen in the metal, right? The brown really pops good off of it, I think. I don't know that I like the chainmail underneath. You know, I feel like I'm down for the chainmail to appear there, and I don't even know if this is like realistic or not. Like I said, we're throwing all of that out the window, but I feel like there should be like a slight slit somewhere in there for better movement, you know, because you have these, which are ideally suited for like good movement here, you know, if you're sprinting, but there's no similar point of movement allowed in the chainmail. You know, I feel like that's a bit of an issue, right? One of the other interesting things I want to point out, and this is going to show up, I think, in a few of these, is how they've gone to balance out the aesthetics in the remaster. When it comes to the belt buckle, right? Obviously, it's a bit more prominent. It's a little bit bigger and all of that, right? But the crucial difference is that in the original here, notice the belt buckle, the excess of the buckle, or of the belt, points to the character's left, their shield-bearing arm. In the remaster, on both of these, points to the left, your weapon-bearing arm. In some ways, I actually really enjoy that. Perhaps it doesn't make a lot of sense because most folks, I think will buckle their belt the other way around, but maybe it doesn't fucking matter because it looks cool. You know, maybe it just looks cool. I think maybe I could see a world in which this is like a bad idea to have this loose extra bit flapping off here by your sword holding arm. You know, if you got a sword here or whatever, maybe as you're like drawing it or like swinging it around, this flapping around in the wind or with your own motion could be an issue, right? But I don't give a fuck because it looks cool. Crucially, it balances out the shield arm, right? You get a whole lot of visual interest on the character's left side, and now it's trying to balance it out, not just by wielding a weapon, but also by having a little extra doohickey from the belt. You know, the asymmetry works in tandem with the idea of you holding a shield, you know, or even you holding a two-handed weapon, which I think you favor your right arm. You know, I think you favor your right arm. The Hero of Kvatch canonically does it. So, you know, a fun little stylistic choice and one that I think makes a lot of sense. It makes the armor look a lot better, I think. You know, rather than having everything weighted to this direction. Oh, you know what? That said, yeah, the weapon is over here. Look, you can see the, like, pommel. Yeah, same goes for here. Yeah, you can see the weapon poking out. Yeah, so that doesn't... Yeah, I think it maybe is just a better idea to have it coming out that way. Right? I think that may be the case. So all in all, I would say the iron armor from the remaster, pretty damn good. Right? It's just iron, but I do like it. I would give it a B rank. I think it clears both original iron. You know, I think it clears both of them. Okay, now let's also look at the light armor equivalent, which would be fur, which would be right here and right there. Let's see here. Let me try and bring these up here as well on our other sort of image here. There we go. Great. Okay. So once again, let's start with original. Get rid of these. Okay. Now, once again, we have this sort of sexual dimorphism of armor, right? Once again, it is happening here. Sort of the inverse situation, wherein in original Oblivion, from like the waist or mid-thigh down, they're pretty much identical, right? They're pretty much the same. You get the same boots with the fur, you got some trim and all that going on. It's once you get higher that things get complicated. The masculine version gets a big, like, WWE belt with a big-ass skull, I guess, from the fur, right on it. And it's completely missing from the feminine version. And frankly, it's in dire need of, if not a huge-ass belt, some kind of belt. This looks terrible. This looks... There's like a big area where it looks like this is just some sort of big apron that's going to be flapping around in the wind. I hate how that looks. I think that's atrocious. That's terrible, man. You get higher up. You start to see around here. At least if we keep maintaining our focus on the chest piece, obviously there's a bunch of stuff like stitched together like nobody's fucking business here. Need to make sure I'm still in the camera and whatnot. Hang on. Let me adjust that. There we go. But yeah, you get all this extra stuff fluffing out kind of right here, which you don't really get on the feminine version. Instead, you get a whole bunch of like bird feathers or something, or like little tiny like foxtails or something with a little charm on the end, a little like coin unit. It really like draws your eye to the head. And I don't know, I think it looks, once again, terrible. It looks more like clothing than something that's meant to protect you, even if it's light armor. You know, I really do not like the feminine version of this armor at all. I think it's so god awful. Also note, these cool like tails hanging off the end. If you're meant to like role play, like, yeah, I'm some sort of like outdoorsman huntsman. I'm going around like fighting non-existent raccoons, right? Raccoons aren't in Oblivion, but it looks like this armor would beg to differ. Unless you're wearing the feminine version, which doesn't exist there. Now, as you move higher up, the hat is even more peculiar. The like sexual dimorphism of the hat is even weirder. Obviously, like we're contributing to a bit more like bulkiness up top, right? This is a bit more of a bulky silhouette, which is fine. You know, if you want to do that for light armor, I guess. Though, frankly, I feel like if we're going with light armor, the masculine version should also be less bulky, right? I want my heavy armor bulky, for regardless of whether it's mask or femme, and my light armor to be kind of like lithe and look like it's capable of good movement, you know? Here, it looks weird how bulky it is. And then we get into the real bulky part, the hat. The hat has these big fluff ears, right? These big fluff ears. Like, you know, the hats that kids love to wear where you can like pull on the ears or whatever, they come down really far. This is what bro is wearing. He is wearing that to a T. I love the like fluffy trim going up and around the like brim. I love that. I even love this. Do you see this? There's like a little dookie popping out of his head. He's got like a little like sprout coming out the top of his head. That's fun. I like that. Why don't you get that? What do you have instead? I'm not even sure what this is, really. It's definitely not the same thing. Both are pretty bad. Honestly, I hate the hats on both of them. This is sort of like your starter leather armor hat. It looks like this sort of like faux aviation hat, or it looks like some kind of old-timey codpiece condom situation. It just looks god-awful. It looks so bad, dude. I really do not like the fur armor. The feminine version is undoubtedly the worst of it all, right? But that isn't to say that like the masculine version is particularly cool. Honestly, I would maybe love the fit on him a lot better if the hat were like a separate item all its own. You know, you could just wear the damn hat if you wanted instead of like a hood. This is just like, yeah, this is what Nords wear when it's cold out, right? If you live up in Bruma, you're wearing this hat. You're out by Colovia, this is what you're wearing. This is the Colovian fur helm, right? This is it. But I don't know, is it? Is it meant to be it? It's a far fucking cry from what existed in Morrowind, I'll give you that. Alright. Anyway, OG fur? Dude, it stinks. It absolutely stinks. I don't know anybody going around with the OG fur. It's D rank for sure. Alright. Now, let's take a gander at the future, baby. The future, things aren't looking great either. In the future, everything looks like ass as well. The fur armor is just so horrible, I think. We have this like enormous, oh, this is almost like a robe, right? This armor wishes it were the skull armor from Skyrim, and it's simply not, right? I think maybe they were trying to do like a Nord fur armor as it existed in Morrowind. But man, it's so bad. I do appreciate the fact that they've added all this extra fluff up here. I don't know what this is called. I think of it as the Jon Snow fluff. You know what I'm talking about? That motherfucker always had some kind of big, like, furry fluff around his, like, shoulder. He had, like, a shawl or, like, a cape or whatever. A cowl? Not a cowl. But he had this type of shit going on all the time. Had, like, a little buckle just right there. Right? That's that Jon Snow shit. That's all right. I would say maybe this is marginally better. What I do respect And what I think cements this into being marginally better than the original is the fact that they realized what they had. They knew what they had with this. The little doinky, the little, like, sprout coming out of the head, it exists still and for both. I think that's fucking great. You know? I think having that little thing up there is fantastic. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the same reason why this exists is why it continues to exist on some, like, beanies or toboggans or, like, snow hats. You know what I'm talking about? These, like, knit hats, and they have, like, the little palm on top. I want to say it's for the same reason, and correct me if I'm wrong. I want to say I heard the Iron Snail, bless up to one of my favorite menswear channels on YouTube, the Iron Snail, talking about what it's for, and I believe it's for, like, helping keep snow off of the top of your hat, right? Helping keep it off and just keeping it kind of weird shaped, right? It's some sort of anti-snow tactic. Either that or in that video that I'm trying to remember, he says it's actually not for that, even though a lot of people think that it is. So my bad. It either is definitely that or it's definitely not that. One or the other. Anyway, this one, the fur armor in the remaster, I'm gonna give it 1 up. It's a D, or it's a C ranker, right? It's still god awful, but I feel like, you know, we have to pay heed to the history that came before, and in some way, I mean, fuck, I don't know. It's really bad. You know what, fuck it, fuck that. It's still bad. It's still fucking D rank for me, dude. It still fucking sucks. I can't give it a C rank. Look at that. Look at that. Come on, you want me to give that a C rank? Dude, it looks like ass to me. It looks like straight ass. All right. Let's see. Let's get on out of here and let's check out. Let's go back to the realm of heavy armor. Let us check out, I suppose, steel, right? Steel would be next. Let's see, where is steel? Right over here. Oh, right toward the bottom, in fact. Okay. Steel and steel. Good. Let's load these up, like so. Perfect. Okay, we're looking at steel armor. Now, here's one where, sort of akin to how things were in Morrowind and how things would be in Skyrim, there is a vast amount of parity between the styling of armor here, right? The masculine and feminine forms are borderline identical. I think there's some changes. This is often the case where the shoulders are maybe made a bit bigger and bulkier on the masculine version, maybe a bit cinched at the, like, lower abdomen, the waist area, and maybe the hips are brought out a little bit, right? There's sometimes a little bit of that, right? All in all, the steel armor, I think, looks awful. I think the steel armor in baseline Oblivion looks awful. I don't fucking understand what's going on. One of the shoulders is so huge and the other one is, like, made for babies, right? Why is that? Why is this strap just right down the middle? I don't care if that's based on real life shit. I think it looks awful. I don't want that interrupting the sort of, like, beauty of the armor right there. I think it looks like madness. It looks wild as hell. One of the things I do like is, which obviously From Software stole from Oblivion, obviously, but I love underneath, you got the little bits of chain, right? Now this one, crucially, unlike the iron we were talking about, crucially, it has the split with the chain, with the, like, cloth underneath the gambeson, and it's got these, like, this upper metal layer, which has multiple points of articulation, and all of that split, right? I do enjoy that. That makes it look very cool. I love seeing the cloth come through on, like, the legs. You got these little other bits strapped onto it. The worst offense of baseline steel armor, the shield is comically small, but that's not even it. I just needed to get it out of the way. The shield always feels comically small with the steel armor. It feels like, how am I blocking anything with this shield? This shield looks like it should be a tower shield, right? But it's like the size of a fucking buckler, dude. Like, you can't block shit with that. You're gonna break your damn arm off, I feel, unless you can expertly deflect it. But how you gonna deflect anything with what looks like it should be a tower shield? But the wildest thing for me are the hands and the feet, right? When you play in first person, it's unmistakable. These have the horrifying oven mitt grip on the gauntlets, which I think is true to life. It's true to life, and it's a method of like saving fingers or perhaps saving material. I don't know, or saving time on construction. But I'm fairly certain these exist in real life where they have the oven mitt metal plating to protect your fingers rather than like each finger getting its own bit of metal plating, which although that looks cool, I understand how the mitt could be better for deflecting an actual blow. But I tend to lean more into arguments of form rather than arguments of function. And in that sense, I don't like it, but on the other hand, I've come to enjoy it, right? There is something so stupid in Oblivion about the oven mitt gauntlet that I kind of love it, right? I do kind of like it. However, what I do think is irredeemable trash and you should immediately be sent to Lord Dagon's, like, fiery domain are these absurd fucking sabatons, dude. Look at the fucking point on those. Look at that. That should count as like quad wielding, or at least dual wielding, or tri wielding, I should say. Well, you could poke someone to death with these things. They look ridiculous. The size on these little points, I don't know why the fuck they're there. I'm sure like someone was looking at like a picture of a real life suit of armor, and to that I say, stop. We're in the realm of fantasy. Just cut that piece off. It looks like shit. Cut off that piece right there. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. You've gone and fucked up some steel armor. It's irredeemable. Also, what the fuck is going on with the belt? I know they're trying to make it look cool and like really nonchalant. Like, yeah, I just put my belt together. I don't really care. I don't really care. That's just the kind of guy I am. I'm wearing heavy armor. Steel armor, got a belt, slung it around here. It's good enough, right? I'm not paying too much mind to these danglers, or the fact that my belt buckle, the belt buckle texture has been stretched like nobody's fucking business. It's rough business. It's pretty damn rough. Man. I do think as a whole, the steel armor is worse than the masculine iron armor, but it's not worse than the masculine or the feminine iron armor. I don't know. I don't know about that. As a whole, let's grab it right here. I think I'll just place it firmly back again in C rank. It's pretty bad. I don't know. You know what? Fuck it. It's D rank. Damn those shoes. Damn the fucking sabatons, the boots. Dude, the point on them is ridiculous. I hate it so much. I hate it a lot. I hate it so... But is it that bad? Is it that bad? There's some nice design on it. You know what? Yeah, I'm buffing it back up to C. I'm buffing it back up to C rank. All right. Let's get out of here and let's look into the future once again. Here... we obviously, you can see they decided to just make us suffer all the exact same original sins from back in the day, right? We've got big ass buckle on the front. It's just dangling there, right? We've got belt chaos, couple danglers, right? At least this buckle isn't stretched to the high heavens, right? Shoes, boots, you had to keep them pointy, right? It's iconic at this point. You had to keep them pointy as fuck. You had to keep the fucking oven mitt on. All that shit, it's still there. Why do I like it a bit more, though? Is it just because... Hear me out. I think it's simply because of the fact that we're dealing with higher fidelity, right? I don't want to give the remaster too many fidelity points, but I am willing to give it a bit here and there, and perhaps dock the original game for trying to get a little too up its own ass and thinking it's a little too much hot shit when it comes to like, oh, we're going to have plating, armor plating and all of that, and we're going to have like, you know, the old version. Here, we can bring it back up. The old version has all of this shit on it, right? Has all this like ribbing, all of these like points of articulation or where like different layers piece together, all of this fucking design all over the place, right? On the dated sort of graphics and all of that, it becomes muddied, right? It loses definition. When you go into the future, it gains definition. It looks a lot cooler. It looks more defined. The problem is when you try and over-design shit when you're dealing with like an older graphics engine or whatever systems or technology is capable of at the time, it gets so muddied, it looks nasty, and I feel like you need to keep it a little bit more simple, right? Get rid of some of these bits of ribbing, right? Dial it back a bit because it's too overcomplicated and thus it makes everything just look fucking disgusting, like a big mess of slop, right? It works here in the future because everything can be so much more defined. You know, everything has a lot more definition to it. You see it like shining differently in the sun and all of that. Crucially, here to make it even pop better, right? This is now significantly more gold. Right? This now looks a whole lot better because the contrast is significantly higher. Right? Same goes for right here, these little like gumdrop buttons. Right? Now they've given them more contrast. Looks so much better. Matching metals as well with the buckle there. Rather than keeping these buckles being also like a silver, like steel colored. They've given them like a more bronze-esque or tin-esque sort of look, right? It works so much better. It serves as like, oh, this is a different type of metal used for a different part of the equipment and all of that. It looks fantastic. Having, right, the little rivets here being that same color gives it some fantastic contrast. And mind you, this is some stuff that maybe wasn't possible back in the day. And to that I say, maybe you shouldn't have even attempted. Maybe you flew too close to the sun with this, right? I feel like this is perhaps what they originally would have wanted it to look like. It does look immaculate and spectacular here. I do really like the remaster version. It just the additional fidelity fixes so many problems. And I'm willing to forgive parts of this because it's kind of iconic. It's become iconic, right? Do we ignore or take into account the context and history of the equipment? I think we have to take it into account, and that now, you know, the stupid fucking shoes are iconic, dude. And of course, the oven mitt is iconic as well. You gotta have it, right? You gotta have it. Thus, I think Remaster Steel, I think that's a B ranker again, right? I think it's pretty solid. You still run into issues where like, I don't enjoy how much bigger this one is than the other. I don't enjoy that. Isn't that like an affect of like using a two-handed weapon though? Right? You kind of want that if you're wielding a two-handed weapon or something along those lines. I don't fucking know. Either way, I hate the asymmetry there. I hate it. I like the asymmetry in the danglers on the belt. I do enjoy that in the future, in the remaster, but I don't like that we carried over the fucking shoulder. But you had to do it, right? You had to do it. And don't shoot me for thinking it looks like shit. All right, let's head back over to light armor, right? Let's head back over to the world of light armor. And what is next? We covered fur. Well, I think it's time for leather. That's right. Let us bring up leather. It's right there in the smack dab middle of it. There we go. And let's bring up our big old investigator. Here we go. Great. Now, let's take these off of here. Good. Alrighty. Now, once again, one with a good amount of parity, but not perfect parity. Of note, there are a few differences around the breasts, around the bosom area. Hilariously, I would say it looks almost as if the like breast region on the feminine version is set up in such a way to where like it's straining against the Hero of Kavach's enormous heaving tits. Right? This is what it gives off to me. Is that, oh look, the stitching here, we've had to reinforce it because the Hero of Kavach is just so fucking like well endowed. She's rocking some big fucking titties, and the leather armor can barely contain it, and we had to get some extra stitching just to keep it from like flying apart and like causing a real issue for your own protection, right? That's what it gives off to me. Right? That's a bit of the vibe that it gives off. But honestly, that's not too egregious, and I do look upon that and think upon that in a bit of a whimsical and joyous way. I do love the idea of femme Hero of Kavach just having some big fucking knockers, dude. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, man. Fucking great. We get like this double layered belt. We have like a big belt underneath, and then a couple little baby belts as well. That's kind of fun. I like the belt going across, this like sash belt. Super dope. Super dope. The one thing I don't like about the femme version though is why is the color different? I like that this is like a very desaturated blue scarf or whatever. How come it's like tan again here? I love the blue underneath poking out. It looks so good. It works great. How come it's a different color? I hate that. The shoulders, I don't fucking understand what's going on with the shoulders. It's on both of them, right? I don't know what this is. It just looks like a mess of cloth. Like someone just tied a flag or like some sails together and just were like, yeah, those are your shoulder pads, dude. What the fuck am I looking at? What is this chaos? This is just like a fucking dish rag? Like you just wadded up a dish rag and those are your shoulders? What the fuck are we doing, dude? What is that shit? I don't understand. Is this real stuff? Like people were using dish rags for their pauldrons? God, I'm glad we didn't have to do that for our shoulder pads in Morrowind. All right. But it's okay. It's all okay. Right? I think OG leather, it's all right. Am I willing to give it a B rank? I don't know. I think it's a C. It's the highest C we've got right now. You know? There's nothing terribly remarkable about it. Points are docked because of the weird looking shoulders. But otherwise, it's okay. It's okay. Not a fan of the hat, obviously. The hat looks absurd. Like, I'm just trying to pretend like I don't have to look at it. I hate the hat. All right, let's go into the future, which suddenly, holy shit, it looks incredible. We have upgraded the amount of mini belts from 2 to fucking 3, baby. And the Dunmer in me wants to say, I love when things come in 3s. We also get a lot more like contrast on the pants, right? The pants look more like pants and less like, is this also part of the leather? I don't know. And now, crucially, perhaps the biggest fix of all for me are the shoulders. The shoulders look so much better on both counts, you know? Hilariously, they did keep the titty blast zone. The titty blast zone has become something of a corset, but it's still there, right? There, that bit of sexual dimorphism of the armor continues to exist, right? And weirdly enough, they gave the masculine version some buckles, which didn't exist before, but maybe it's for the best because it would maybe look a little weird without any buckles there. I don't know. Another affectation that I like is around the neck. This, which is also just a bit of a chaos mess of just like shit wrapped around your fucking body, right? Just throw some fucking leather in there, strap it on, get a fucking scarf under there too. Now it looks like there's like you're wearing a damn shirt or a tunic underneath, right? It looks good. You know, I do enjoy it quite a bit. The leather armor I think looks fucking solid. You know what? I think I'm willing to give the leather armor in the remaster an A rank. I think I'm willing to do that. Maybe we bring it down back to a B. It depends on what all else occupies A rank. But for now, I'm willing to have it up there. Okay. What the fuck is next? How about we go back to the realm of heavy duty, heavy armor, right? We got steel. How about what's next? What the fuck is next? Is it Orcish or Dwarven? I always forget. Is it Orcish or Dwarven? I don't fucking remember. I think it's Dwarven, isn't it? I think it's Dwarven. All right. Let's hit up Dwarven here in our up-close examination maneuver. Okay. Wonderful. Now, right away, I want to tell you, I fucking hate Oblivion's Dwarven armor. It's my least favorite Dwarven armor that I've ever seen in any Elder Scrolls game, right? There is an armor set which will counterbalance this because Oblivion has one of my favorite incarnations of it, but it is not the Dwarven set at all. I really don't like it. I understand what they're going for. I think I've seen like real life, is it in like Southeast or Southwest Asia? There's like statues that kind of evoke this. And I think in some way, like maybe around Malaysia or Malaysia itself, there are armors and like equipment and like outfits that kind of evoke this. And I think that's what they're pulling from. And maybe that is also what Dwemer sometimes pull from, you know? Perhaps. But I just gotta say, I really don't like it. I feel like it's so over-designed. This is a big issue I have, especially with OG Oblivion, is that some of the shit is over-designed, just too much shit going on. I will say, though, although I would consider it to be over-designed, I do love the shield. I love the Dwemer shield. But everywhere else, we just have lines smashing into lines. You know, like down here, look at the like boots and shit. Here, we've got like these triangles and stuff, and then suddenly square, throw a circle in the middle. What the fuck are we doing, man? What are we doing? I don't like it at all. It's worth bearing in mind that what came before, yeah, I hate this too. I don't like that at all. but it's worth bearing in mind that in Morrowind, I did quite enjoy the Dwemer armor there. I'm not sure if I'm willing to commit that it's my favorite. It might be. But in Morrowind, Dwemer armor doesn't appear as if it was even necessarily armor from the get-go. More so, it appears as if it's pieces of scrap metal taken off of various automata and pieced together afterward by like current day adventurers and stuff, right? Like the boots look as if, oh, these came off of a Steam Centurion in some way. There's all manner of that. There's even pieces that look like they're direct one-to-one taken off of some of the enemies. I love the scrap metal sort of nature of that. And this is so far divorced from it. And I fucking hate it, dude. I fucking do not care for it at all. It's got to be said. This is unquestionably my least favorite. I don't get this stuff. Like the line work is just madness to me. You know, it's fucking madness. Nothing leads into nothing else. It doesn't fucking make any sense. It's just complete chaos. I don't understand it. I fucking hate it. You know what? Yeah, I fucking hate it. It's a D rank. It's probably my least favorite so far. Where's fucking Dwarven so we can throw it down there? Fuck that. All right, now let's look into the future. Let's look at the remaster version. What can I say? It's still shit. It's still dog shit, right? I think what they try to salvage here is the silhouette, right? They try to fix up the silhouette of it a bit more. They notably, I think, drew some attention away from the fact that there's this purple cloth underneath too. You know? Like, I feel like purple and blue cloth, just pick one. Pick a fucking lane. I do enjoy that the nipples on the shield are as prominent and as perky as ever. I do love that. That's very fun. I get that, like, it's now trying to evoke more like the splint mail. No? Like, this is meant to look like pieces of splint mail. I know what that is. I've played enough role-playing games in fantasy settings to know what splint mail is. And that's giving splint mail. The rest of it, however, it continues to be chaos. I think they tried to dial down some of the contrast, right? Like, in particular on the shoulders, right? There's less contrast on the swooping, so it's a lot more subtle compared to how things were in the past, where it's just like, it's fucking chaos, man. I enjoyed the idea of, like, they have this here in the helmet, right? These different layers, but they're not really evoking layers here in the past. But here in the remaster, they try to get it. They try to do it. There's still this weird shit up top. What the fuck? I still don't fucking like it. They tried to salvage it, but I think it's unsalvageable. I still hate it. I'm still giving it a D rank. I think Oblivion's Dwarven armor is just dog shit. It's barely better than the original, right? Fuck it. I fucking hate it. I'm a Dwarven armor hater for Oblivion. All right. Let's flip things back over to light armor once again. And what is next under light armor? We just dealt with... it will be chainmail, won't it? We're done with, like, animal hide. We're going into chainmail, I believe. Yes, chainmail. Let me bring this up again. There we are. And let's close these down just for posterity's sake. Okay. Now, as you can already see, the armor is exhibiting high frequencies of sexual dimorphism. It's really, really ridiculous here. The chainmail armor, I think, is fucking out of its mind. The chainmail armor is fucking out of its mind, dude. If we just look at what the fuck is happening with the femme version, I don't know what the fuck is happening. Right? I get, like, maybe you would want it to be like, okay, let me describe it this way. This is going to sound a little weird. The femme version of the chainmail armor can't decide if it wants to be horny or not. Right? Why are the gloves like this if your whole ass arm everywhere else is completely exposed? Why are your boots so fucking huge and fluffed up if you're just going to have the titties popping out and this whole section, right, the whole like coif is just opened? You're looking like a fucking nun out here, right? What is the vibe? What is going on? It's a mishmash of everything. Is it trying to be protective, right? Like if I cover that up, okay, right? Look here on the right. That looks like, okay, I see where this is going. I see where I see the vision for the femme chainmail. I start to go up. Oh. What the fuck, man? What are we doing? What are we doing? It's complete chaos. Once again as well, the like sexual dimorphism of armor continues with belts. Right? The masculine form has like this good split in the middle of it, right? Useful for getting around and all that. Doesn't exist here. What kind of belt is this? Who the fuck knows, man? What kind of belt is this? I don't know. It's complete and utter chaos. It's so wild that they even made sure to have like a bit of flesh just pop right there. Right? Oh, man. It is so wild. Even the hat shape is different, right? Even the hat shape is weirdly different. Like, you don't even look like some kind of battle nun. I don't know what the fuck is going on. It can't decide what it wants to be. It cannot decide what it wants to be. And because of that, it suffers greatly. People be like, you will suffer greatly. Well, this is it. This is the great suffering. Now, you may think that this is all just like aligned to the feminine version that has problems. I would also say the masculine version here, this is from here down, that's all fine. The masculine version, that's all fine. That makes sense. I understand this. I see the vision. But then the hat, something about the shape of the hat as it tries to capture the potato-esque heads of OG Oblivion, it becomes a bit of an amorphous, weird blob. It lacks definition where I would love there to be some, or even some sort of contrast in this harder material up top, and then you get like all the chain down below. I kind of want more contrast there, but it doesn't exist. It looks so terrible. I really do not care for the hat. I would so much rather a world in which we got like, I don't even know, I suppose a different hat, like just wear a damn hood, you know? But man, the femme version is so atrocious, I think. I think it's so bad. It just cannot decide what it wants to be. You know, if it just committed to one lane or the other, I would respect it more. Right? If it's like, yeah, this is old school sexy fantasy armor, chainmail bikini and everything. Okay, sure. Not usually my thing. Feels a little bit weird in an Elder Scrolls game nowadays. But go for it. You know what? Aesthetically, maybe it could work. Or alternatively be like, yeah, this is armor. It's made to protect. We want this character to look like a fucking battle nun with this type of hat going on, right? We want you to look like a fucking battle nun. But it's not doing fucking any of that. It's just floundering around in its own mess. It's a disaster, dude. It's a fucking disaster. And because of that, I think I gotta give it a D rank, too. I think I gotta give it a D rank. Dude, I fucking hate it. I think it looks atrocious. Where is chainmail so I can kill it? Right here. You know what? Let's dial down the fur. Well, no. The fur is quite bad, too. So bad. There's just a bunch of bad shit, I guess. All right. Well, Let's see here. Let's flip over to the future. The future is, things are looking bright. Things are looking fucking bright. I love the way in which a lot of things are framed here, right? You've got, once again, crucially for movement's sake, this split, right? The belt sort of sliding off to the character's right arm or right hand. I think a very distinct and important decision. There's some like design that looks very neat in the leather here underneath. And I love the way in which it frames the chainmail. You know, I love that. There's some of these little bits of plating on the shoe, right? There's some right there. Crucially, what I think they have done the impossible here. They've done the fucking impossible. Obviously, the sexual dimorphism of the chainmail has gone away, right? There's a whole lot of parody now. But what saves both of these is the way in which the helmet works, right? The helmet is leaps and bounds above what came before. Critically, it is so critical to how it reads. The silhouette of it is cinched right there at the neck. It looks so much better having it cinched. You know, it looks so much better. The way in which, as well, this sort of like hugs around the character's face, I think is so much better than this being so loosey-goosey, because it was made to be like, okay, we have to accommodate these fucking wild heads, right? We don't really fucking know how big these heads can get, how much these people are going to open their mouths to yell at you and to tell you to stop right there, criminal scum. Thus, we're giving it a wide berth. Here, they bring everything, they get everything tightened up. Everything gets tightened a lot up better. The dividing line, not the store, but the divide. It was terrible. Real ones will know. But the dividing line between the like coif and the chest area, it's so much better here. The little hint of leather on 2 layers coming out, and then also crucially here as well. And you see even as well, these little rings here and there. These little rings here. I love that. It looks so much better. I mean, I wouldn't wear it, but I see the vision. I see what you're going for. It's feeling very Monty Python and shit. I respect anyone who wants to rock the fit. I like it a lot. It's so much better than what came before. Just a few crucial changes made that really make a major, major difference. I think it's a B rank. Right? I think it's a respectable B rank now. From being like ass grade, we're going to be like up there with the rest of them. All right. Now what's next? We've looked at chainmail. Now it's time. Honestly, it's time to take a drink. I've been yapping for quite a while and we still got a ways to fucking go, dude. All right, sorry about that. Let's see here. Let us take a gander at heavy armor. So we're going to want orcish, right? Let's hit up orcish armor. Let me see here. Load this thing up into our little video or image manipulation device. Close out of them. Good. Okay, orcish armor. Crucially, orcish armor, right away you will see both of them staring at you. That's right. Orcish armor in OG Oblivion does exhibit the sexual dimorphism that we've come to appreciate, right? Rather than there being one big pig, they are titty pigs now. There are 2 titty pigs right over your tits. And honestly, I think the 2 titty pigs are cooler than one big pig. Am I wrong about this? I feel like the femme version actually looks superior to the masculine version. I would rather have the 2 titty pigs than just one big one down the middle. You know, I think I like that more. Maybe that's personal taste, but I do think I like it more. Maybe it's because it shows, right, there is more negative space here, whereas here it's kind of lowered a bit, right? See? It's already colliding with this part, whereas here there's like quite a gap. Maybe that's part of it? I don't know. But I think I unquestionably do prefer the double pig over the singular pig. Are these even pigs? Psh, they gotta be. How could they not be? Crucially, though, with the rest of it, ironically enough, in Morrowind, default orcish armor and stuff has the clown shoes. It's got the spiky clown shoes. But here in Oblivion, when we moved to Cyrodiil, suddenly orcs forgot about that. They don't have it anymore. You got a lot of this, like, ancient Mongolian vibe kind of going on, you know? I feel like the orcish armor evades what harmed the dwarven armor. You know, I feel like they have dialed back the contrast sufficiently to where, yes, there's a lot of detailing going on, right? There's a lot of like these little splint mail units, right? There's a whole shitload of them down here. But your eyes aren't immediately drawn to them. Instead, your eyes are drawn either to the head or to the pigs, right? Which maybe is in some world is bad with the pigs being there, but I kind of fucking love the pigs, right? Even the singular pig is joyous. I do enjoy that singular pig. There's some sort of like weird flailing monkey or whatever in the shoulder pads. I don't know what this little thing is. Is that a monkey? What is that? Maybe that's a pig flailing around. I have no idea what's inside of the design on this armor. And frankly, maybe I don't want to know. Maybe I don't want to know. The problem is, though, is that it's so covered in like splint mail, I almost think that it's light armor. You know, the orcish armor doesn't look like heavy armor. It looks like light armor. Even the helmet is giving light armor, right? This little flap. This fucking flap shit going on. It evokes light armor to me. Nothing about this is screaming, hey, this is heavy armor, until I'm familiar with the game. You know, until I'm familiar with it. Thus, do I want to keep it at C rank? My first inclination was to give it a C rank. But maybe I want to dock it more for looking kind of like light armor when it should be heavy. Huh. Or no, sorry, B rank. My first inclination is to give it a B rank. You know what? Let's keep it in B rank. Right? I like it enough. I do love those pigs. I'm so curious. I forgot what they did with the pigs otherwise, though. How do the pigs look in the future? I'm assuming there's just one pig. Crucially, though, holy shit, the armor is hairy as fuck now. The armor is so hairy. Look at this. It's so hairy everywhere. Oh my gosh, it is hairy all over town. And they've made a critical error that I think is going to actually make it place below the OG version. Why is the shield of a different metal color than the rest of it? Right? Look at the metal on these. Look at the fucking metal. Why is it a different color shield? Man, that's awful. Why is the shield like bronzed and the rest of it is fucking not? I cannot stand by that, dude. I can't stand by it. Look, it's a little bit more legible, the weird monkey thing. They did keep the weird monkey. Look at it. Or pig, whatever that is. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's the eyelashes of something. Maybe it's the eyelashes of another angry pig. Right, because now that looks like an eye. Yeah, that's an eye, isn't it? Maybe it's meant to be a fucking dragon. I don't know what the fuck it is. All right, either way, I really dislike how differently colored the shield is. It's like they got designed at different points in time, right? There was one person doing armor, and they did the entire orcish armor set. But the shield was counted as a weapon because you wield it in your hand. Thus, someone else came by and they interpreted this. Because here, I can kind of see how you would gather that, but it works out because in the original, because up here, this sort of color matches the shield, you know? So it works out there. But here, these do not fucking match, right? Instead, it's fucked up. Yeah, they fucked it up, dude. Okay. I'm bringing it down to a C rank. This is our first case of the remaster armor being worse. And it is purely because of that shield. And maybe the pube fur. I don't like that fur. I don't like the pubes all over it. That is fucking nasty. Just so we have another look at the pubes. Look at that. I don't like that. Fucking Tress FX shit going on. Look at Crash Bandicoot's hairs or some shit. What the fuck are we doing? I don't like it. I don't like it at all. All right, where is Orcish? Right there. Okay, it's a C ranker. Not impressed. Not impressed. Okay. Now, up next, we flip back over to the world of light armor. And what have we got for our flipping? Well, mithril, right? We're dealing with mithril. Okay, let me load this business up here, this dark business. There we are. Okay. Good. And let's close out of these. So mithril. Mithril has, it's exhibiting a little bit of sexual dimorphism, but it's nothing too wild. Here on the masculine version, there's a bit of a like phallic unit right here. And here we have like a bit of a like check out the titties, right? Not that big of a deal. All in all, the mithril armor as it appears in Oblivion original suffers from something that we brought up before. It's a little over-designed, you know? Same as what we brought up with in the our talks on the steel armor. It's over-designed and everything just kind of muddies out, right? They didn't have the tech available to like make it really pop in a cool way. Like I'm only just now noticing that there's some kind of fucking bird on these. What the fuck? There's a fucking bird or chicken or something on these. There were birds on this shit all along. What the hell are they doing there? Or is that a dragon? No, that's like a bird. That's like a chicken. What the fuck is that? Okay, but yeah, regardless, there's too much fine detail and it just kind of muddies out. You know, there's not enough contrast, there's not enough definition for you to be able to pull this off. You got to keep it a little bit simpler when you're working with older hardware because it just muddies out a lot. Like a lot of the detail is lost. You're shooting for the moon when you should be shooting for a rain cloud or something, right? You got to dial it back a bit because we can't quite show, like here, the shield is such a great example of it. There's such an intricate, wild design all over it. And all of this like mishmash of like somewhat desaturated gold yellow on top of the like bluish metal It's got like a light hint of blue on it. It looks so hideous, right? Because it's trying to do too much and it doesn't have enough room to work with it. You know? I don't enjoy the mithril armor. I don't like it. I don't know if I hate it, but I think it's a C rank. I think it's a C rank. Mithril, OG Mithril is a C ranker. Sorry. But we turn our gaze once more to the fucking future. And what have we got? Holy hell, what splendor. You know what? Here, hang on. Let's bring back up OG Mithril just to look at the difference in this. You can sort of see it here, right? But it's the use of color that really makes this shit look different, right? Before, I had only just noticed that there is an avian nature or aspect about this, but looking into the future, you can see all the details start to pop, right? The hat is suddenly very, very bird-like, you know, whereas before, I guess, yeah, these were meant to be like feathers and stuff erupting from your fucking mouth, you chicken eater. Down here, these are looking kind of like talons, I guess, is the idea. There's feathers down here on the boots. Look at all that. All this detail that we otherwise, like, just drowned out because it's just like an overwhelming mess to the eyes. Suddenly, it's very present. It's very apparent. You get like, you look like a type of bird superhero. You know, you're like Hawkman, Hawkgirl, some type of like bird related hero. And I hate it. I fucking hate it, dude. I don't like it at all. I don't like either of them. They did manage to define what was there, and what rose to the top, what was revealed from that briny abyss is hideous. I don't want to look at it. I don't like the look of it at all. The shield looks kind of cool. But the armor itself, God, I don't like it, dude. It looks like it's from a different fucking universe. You know, this looks like some shit from like World of Warcraft or some like anime shit, right? Which we'll get into, right? We will definitely get into that before long. Well, we got like a little Freemasons symbol here. I don't know the like cultural significance in world of some of this shit. But just aesthetically, I don't enjoy it, right? And all of the little speckles of gold, it evokes glitter. And I fucking hate glitter, dude. I fucking hate it. What a mess. I'm bringing it down. It's also a C rank. I see the vision and I hate it. I see what you're going for and I think you're disgusting for attempting. Barely above the original. Okay. Let's see. So now we've done Mithril. We're flipping back once again over to the world of heavy armor again. Right. What all do we have left? Well, fuck. We're getting near the end of the line, aren't we? When it comes to these baseline ones, because what's up next? But Ebony. Ebony is what's next. A classic, a favorite amongst Elder Scrolls enjoyers. Ebony has been around, I don't know, long time, and it's been a long time fave, right? A lot of people still enjoy it to this day. Ebony was a popular armor material, and it still is. However, I don't like it. However, I don't like it. And maybe you saw this coming a mile a fucking way. I dislike how much is going on. It's the same fucking issue as before where it's over-designed. They're trying to get too fancy with the intricacies of this, and it, like, all of this here in the middle may as well be nothing, right? This is nothing to me because it's such a disgusting slop fest mess of like blurred everything. It's too much. It's over designed. Dial it back. It would be better if there was less design there, or even perhaps no design there, you know? And then you get like these little, once again, these little dots, fucking polka dots on your damn shoes. What are we doing, dude? And look at the mess of shit on the knee pads. Just a mess. No one can discern what the fuck is going on there. There's too much. There's too much. I love, if we just ignore a lot, right? This is good. I like the look of that. Having some like black armor with like a gold trim, that's for somebody. You know, this is kind of good. This is good. Maybe less so there in the little elbow pad. The shoulders are looking, see, once again, the shoulders fall victim to this as well. I like this, the trim area. I like this section. I like the idea that it comes up that much. But why, oh why did you have to fuck it up by putting so much shit right in the middle of it? It's just too over-designed, I feel. I don't enjoy it. And maybe even worse than that are these little buttons right here for the pauldrons. They got too much going on. It's too difficult to discern at a glance. Thus, when you glance at it, it just looks like a big smeared mess. It looks like a big blur. And everything below the belt is a fucking disaster. It's too over-designed. Why is everything below the belt? Why is there so much shit going on? Especially on the feminine version where they have these like strips of fucking beef jerky hanging off of the bottom of the fucking armor. Why does it look like that? Why would you hang beef jerky right there? It looks ridiculous. There's too much interest, too much visual interest going on below the belt when the inverse should be what's going on, where the visual interest should be drawing your eyes up to the character's face and stuff like that. This should be where you focus your everything, right? And they kind of understood the assignment with the abdomen here, right? They understood that. But then going further down, there's just so much fucking everything. It's chaos down. It's chaos, chaos, chaos all over down there. I fucking do not care for that whatsoever. And even more egregious is you can see they understood again the beauty of keeping it fucking simple here with the hat, right? The hat doesn't have like little fucking gold polka dots or like some ridiculous swooping design all over it. It doesn't have that. It understands what it needs to do and how to work in tandem with the rest of the armor. Right? It understood it very well. But my God, otherwise it's such a fucking like clusterfuck of like visual over design. There's too much going on. Too fucking much. And let alone as well, what the hell's going on with her like boots? What's going on with these boots here, dude? Is this chainmail right here like poking out in the middle of it? What the fuck is that? What's going on there, brother? I don't know. I don't like that at all. Also very funny is if you're a lady, you wear your belt sideways. Why is that? How come the fellas got it on like that, but then if you're a lady, you get a little freaky with it? Why is that? Why is that? And let alone the fact that the design here already looks like a mess on the masculine armor. Holy shit. On the feminine version where they decide to have like just a big huge cut in the middle, but the warping because of the titties. The design is warped even worse. What the fuck are we looking at? It's warped completely by the titties. It looks like a complete train wreck, brother. Get that shit out of here. It is so bad. It is so bad. I fucking do not care for the ebony armor in OG Morrowind, in OG Oblivion. It's just such a big smear of trash everywhere, right? They should have kept it simple, dialed it back a little bit. Don't get too fucking intricate, because the fucking Xbox 360 couldn't handle it. PC hardware back in the day couldn't fucking handle it for the most part, unless you were like rolling around with a fucking pimped out rig. And because of that, the ebony armor, as iconic as it is, do I want to give it a D rank? No, it's not quite that bad. There are some redeeming aspects of it. But it's bottom C. It's bottom C, maybe high D. Okay. Let's gaze to the future, where hopefully, did they fix everything? They mostly did. And it's sheerly because of the additional fidelity. But now I'm immediately reminded of something that I don't like about it. I remember this really sticking out to me. They fixed the shoes, right? There's appropriate amounts of visual interest going on, right? What they managed to do here is fantastic. Suddenly, to draw your eyes upward, they put a little bit more bullshit on the helmet, right? Down below, it's a little less wild, right? These are hidden away a bit. This isn't quite as bespeckled as before. It doesn't look like fucking polka dots anymore. It looks like rivets reinforcing it. Thank fuck for that, right? It literally looks like polka dots. The issue I have with the new one, though, is that it looks like a fucking bird, right? It looks like a bird with huge eyebrows. I don't know why it looks like a bird, but look at this. This is like the shit that you would see on like a cartoon owl. You know what I'm talking about? This is its like eyebrows, right? It's comically enormous and huge eyebrows. A lot of it, though, I love what's going on. I love the way in which the lines sort of draw your attention upward to the character's face and to like the shoulders and all of that. They did so much, but man, the hat got worse. The hat got worse. They sort of repeated the sins of the past. They should have kept it a little simple. If they just didn't have the huge, like, looking like you're walking around with a couple fucking Kwama foragers up there, dude. These are just two big Kwama foragers right there. It doesn't look great. But is it as bad as before? They fixed so much, and yet they fell prey to the hat. You know what? I'm going to give it a B rank, because it's so easy at this level to forego the helmet. You know, it's simple to get the helmet out of there and just wear a damn hood or something else. You know, but it's got to be a low B rank, because the helmet, once again, you looking like a bird-related superhero. All right, we got Ebony cleared. Now, we're going over to Elven. Right? We're going over to Elven. Let's get this loaded up here in our little examiner. Great. Okay. Elven. I just want to say right away, this is my least favorite armor set in the entire game. Perhaps in the entire franchise, it's got to be one of the worst. You're looking like some type of amphibian. You are looking amphibious with this shit. I get that this is probably Elven make of Alien make. This is Elven in the sense that it's of Alien make, perhaps, because they have a lot of shit like that going on. God, we've talked about some bad boots and shoes before. What are we doing? What are we doing? It's got little like toe talons and stuff. And worst of all, it's got like little scales here, little scales around here. It's looking fucking disgusting. And why is there just red? Why is there just a red cloth around your fucking calves? Why is that there? I hate it so much. There's also some sexual dimorphism of the armor on display here. For whatever reason, this is chainmail that's surface level here on the masculine type, but here on the feminine version, it's the scales again, you know? And you can see the chainmail underneath. I hate how much it looks like a weird fucked up bird. Or like an amphibian. Maybe it is a bird. Is it a fucking bird again? Maybe it is. Yeah, maybe you're meant to look like a fucking basilisk or like a cockatrice or some shit. I do not like it. Even worse is this like articulation up here, the way in which this is layered, right? The like design of that is so gross. And how it leads off right here onto our right, the character's left, right? You would think these would be like clean lines, but then suddenly, whoa, let's have an explosion of bullshit coming from over here. What's all this? Right? It messes up the clean lines. Why is that coming from there? Once again, obviously this suffers from the muddiness of over design, right? Look at the shoulders on them. They're so atrocious looking. Look, it looks like a fucking pile of poop, dude. It's so gross. I hate the visual silhouette of the hat, right? I hate that this is poking up. I know it's meant to evoke the like alien statues and all that, but I fucking hate those too. What do you want me to like the aliens? Not after reading all those in-game books. Also bad around the sash. You got this belt and sash layered. But weirdly, you have this sort of like weird shit popping up that's metal. What is this? What is this? Look, it's not as extreme on the masculine version, but it is present. Why is that shit poking up like that? Just everything about this armor is disgusting to look at. I never want to see it. I never want to fucking wear it. I don't know anybody who wears this fucking armor. Unless you find one with like a cool enchant or whatever on it, you happen to be cursed with finding one and needing to use it because like, fuck, the enchant on it's really good. That's the only thing I can think of, because otherwise ain't nobody gonna want to walk around looking like this. You're looking like a whole fucking bird amphibian at the same time. It's so bad, and the color of it is just like this egg yolk kind of yellow with a little bit of green too. It's just too much shit going on. And all these little swirls made to be like, oh, look at how fun and fanciful we are with our little swirls. Guess what? You're on the fucking Xbox 360. All this shit, all these details get fucking muddied out. It looks like ass afterward. Can't make sense of it. We need to operate in some broader strokes. If anything, it's amazing that the shield turned out as good as it did. I do like the shield. I actually enjoy the shield, but man, the armor itself is so god-awful. And what's even going on here? What is this, like, collar situation? We couldn't have the metal come up a little bit more. I actually think the feminine version looks a bit better because of the disturbance from the Hero of Kavach's heaving bosom, right? It actually caused there to be some amount of symmetry with that, right? There's some measure of symmetry, whereas here it's asymmetrical in like the worst way possible. But even still, you can see the explosion of bullshit coming from off the side. Why is that necessary? Why did we have to do it? Why, man? Oh, I think also what helps is that the feminine version We talked about this, how oftentimes they shrink the shoulders and sometimes tilt them to make it look like you have less broad shoulders. This is often the case in a lot of like clothing to this day, where parts are made to like, if it's menswear, the shoulders are meant to look a little bit broader than usual, compared to women's wear. And this is very much the case here, but it's like to a comical degree, right? This is like going around wearing a fucking suit with like the 1980s enormous, like super puffed up shoulder pads where they're just like absurdly, ridiculously huge and oversized. I fucking hate it. I think it's by far my least favorite armor in perhaps the entire franchise. It's possible. It's the worst of the worst, the Elven armor. Were they able to fix it? I don't remember. Oh, man. It does look better. It does look better. I think what helps is they toned down the color a bit. Right? They're working with more of the red. Right? See how they changed around here? Some of this to just be red. You know? They got the trim. More red trim that didn't exist down here. Or I guess it was kind of pink. What happened to the cuffs? Oh, they're still there. These are still there, dude. Why? What are they? It doesn't make any sense to me. What are they? What is this? Why is it rolling out of there? It's like a fucking Play-Doh toy, like you're squeezing out a little hot dog. What are we doing, man? Why is it like that? The shoulder pads look so much better. They make so much more sense. Right, look at this. This shit looks like a fucking carved off toenail. Like Danny DeVito fucking whipped out the damn toe knife and they got toenails out here. That's what that shit looks like. At least here, you got this kind of sticking up, kind of flaring out, and then down here, also a little bit of a flare out. Love it. Love it. I like that a lot. Significantly better. You still get the asymmetry here of this swooping like so, swooping like so. And it's off center, which is annoying as hell. But at the very least, they played around with the contrast a bit. And the explosion coming out of the side isn't as ridiculous. Messing around with the contrast of it really, really helped a lot. And crucially, somehow they saved the hat. It still has like a hilariously evil bird. Right? There's like a really mean looking bird here. There's like a little mean guy. Right? Look at him. Look at that. Look at that dude. That's a little mean bird. Look at him. It does look ridiculous, but it looks so much better than before. It's amazing that they were able to save that. And it's amazing that they made the bird even legible. I would have been asking if we could, right? What was the name of the company that did the remaster? It wasn't Bethesda. It was well, Bethesda contributed some, but they primarily were working on other things. God, what was their name? I completely forgot. I'm completely blanking on it. But they should have been asking if they could have just got the fucking birds gone. They could have got rid of some of the birds. Oh, fuck. Too much bird shit. Too much bird shit. I guess we'll rank this one up one higher, because it is slightly better. They did, let's acknowledge their achievements. What they did. It's a C rank. Right? It's not as egregious. It's wearable. It's practically wearable. Like, I'm not going to see it and immediately be like, God, I'm tortured to wear this, or I'm immediately dropping it. It's acceptable to wear. Okay. Finally, now that we've done that, we can flip back over to heavy armor, wherein we are going to check out series staple once again in conjunction with Ebony and some of the others here. Daedric. Let me load this up into our viewer. Okay. Let me close out these. Now, initially, you may think that I have a problem with this, wherein it's muddied, right? Where it's muddied, they're trying to do too much detail. But let me tell you, I think they pull it off here. For some reason, this armor has some issues that I'm willing to overlook. It has the ridiculous super pointy sabatons, right? They're super pointy shoes, and yet I don't mind it. I do not mind it whatsoever. It has a lot of visual interest, but I think they succeed in blending it with everything by turning down the contrast. They have high contrast points on like the pokers, right? These pokey dokies at the ends, right? And sort of at the trim, they have like the blood, almost glowing red. Same goes for up here in the helmet, right? The eyeball area, the evil eyeballs. They make good use of color and contrast and saturation and all of that. The color grading on this armor, I think, is actually quite good. Yes, some of it is difficult to parse, but at the same time, it evokes so much, and I think this is what separates it. It evokes so much of going into the Deadlands, right? Not just Daedric armor that came in, like, Morrowind, but it evokes so much of what you see in the Deadlands when you're going to grab those sigil stones. It seems so familiar. It feels so fitting for that land. And in that way, it feels like a huge success, right? It actually works extremely well. And let me just tell you right now, this is actually one of my favorite sets of armor in Oblivion. And it's, dare I say, my favorite iteration of Daedric armor. Purely because of the color work, and the silhouette in and of itself is very good. Like, I don't need to know what the detailing is on like this. I don't need to know about that because it just looks like weird fucked up Daedric shit that I've seen before when I went into an Oblivion gate. You know, I write it off. I don't need to know the details. As far as I know, it just looks evil, fucked up, and sinister. It looks fantastic. Even the hat, I think, manages to look very good and cool. Oh shit, dragged around my guide. But like I said, I think the hat looks very, very good. I love the way in which the cloth comes down, right? Sort of right there in the middle. I love that red cloth peeking out from underneath. And it gives you the perfect reason. It gives you the perfect case to, if you wanted to, take off the helmet and put on a little hood, right? Put on a little hood right there. And that is honestly one of my favorite endgame fits. It's what I wore my very, very first time playing through Oblivion. I wore the Daedric set of armor with, I think it was a Mythic Dawn hood or one of the red ones, right? It meshes perfectly with that hood. It looks fantastic. And even without it, without the helmet looks evil and fucked up. I appreciate the way in which it looks so gnarly. The little spikes evoke some of the booby traps that you encounter in the Deadlands that are trying to kill you. I think it works very, very well. I love it a lot, actually. I think what's crucial in it separating itself from the others that are over-designed is its ability to mute colors, right? To like play them down, you know? And that you have very crucially a frame of reference. I think having that frame of reference is so, so important. If there were other situations where like elven armor, you had like better frames of reference, like you saw more aliens going around and more stuff inside the Iliad ruins looked like this armor, aside from like the statues, and that's it. I think maybe I would be down for it more, you know? But the Daedric armor, I think it's an S tier. Even in the original, it's an S tier. And you know what? When we look at, let's see here, let me let me bring it up. When we look at the future, it's even better. It's even better. They learn the same lessons. They don't get too, like, they follow the same lessons from before. They don't get too carried away with color. You keep the high contrast reds at these pokey-dokes on the side, on the shoulders here as well. On the trim, it's red there. It looks so fantastic. Red. Crucially, in the center, as your eye is drawn up, we have like darker, richer, more saturated reds, right? And then here, the like tabard or whatever it is poking out the bottom, more desaturated. Even this down here, which you would think would be saturated, it's less so. It's less saturated on this trim compared to sort of what you get up here, right? It's very, very well done. It's even better. They improved and brought the classic up to par. One of the best armor sets in the entire game, I think. It was fantastic back in the day, and it's still fantastic to this day in the remaster. I absolutely love it. It's an S rank. I think it's even better. I would say that the remaster is even better simply because like it is exactly what it looks like to me, just with higher fidelity, right? It's a success on all fronts. You know, it's not to like bring down what came before. It's that they achieved in replicating it and bringing it forward in time. The Daedric heavy armor is so fantastic. I absolutely love it. All right. Now we flip over to the light armor equivalent, which is glass. Which, of course, in Elder Scrolls Land isn't actually glass. As we know it in our universe, it's something a little different. Let's see here. Oh, whoops. Hang on. Pop this. Good. Now, the glass armor in Oblivion, I think, is extremely guilty of being looking like it's made of uranium, looking like some Children of Adam armor from Fallout because of the incredible, like incredibly saturated greenish yellow. It looks so wild. I will give it that it doesn't look quite as wild in most of the wildlands of Cyrodiil because it's already so verdant and lush green, right? It's already so much of that. What I will dock it points for is I actually dislike the sexual dimorphism here on display. Here, for the femme version, you get the big, like, weightlifter power belt with another small belt strapped on top of it. And you see so much more of the chainmail, right? I would so much rather see just more of the glass armor extended further down across the abdomen, across the torso. I don't get why we decided to just show the chainmail. I think it looks terrible. There's like this weird void of like proper glass armor right there in the middle, right? I think it's so rough, and it's exacerbated by the fact that there's this gap here between the gloves and the shoulders, you know? I don't enjoy that. But on the one hand, although I think a lot of it is so stupid, like the helmet, the way in which it has this layer that flares out and for whatever reason is like black, right? And it has like this absurdly high point, like unicorn horn situation on the helmet. Man, a lot of it looks so dumb. And here as well, why is this flipping off of it here? Same on the femme version. Why is this flipping off? Why is this coming out like that? It's like it's meant to be a spur or something. I don't know. All that said, for me, it's kind of iconic. For me, this is where a lot of like personal taste is coming, or personal, not even taste, but attachment is coming in. I have a personal attachment to this lime green ass glass armor, in that it is one of those armors I just heavily associate with Oblivion, on account of, you know, once you get to a certain level, almost all the fucking bandits and shit that you see, half of them are going to be wearing light armor, and it's going to be this glass armor, right? It's going to be the armor that you see people wearing in Oblivion, that people are wearing as you see them in Oblivion. It has become inseparable. It's reached like icon status. It's unfair because it does so many things wrong that I dislike. It has a lot of problems. In some ways it's over-designed here. Like, look at this, like another spiral. All this shit, like it's literally clipping into itself. It's horrible and disgusting. This is meant to look like some sort of clean break, I think, but your character's body moving around like morphs it in such a horrible way. It looks like the plating or whatever it is, the glass, is like melting in such a way around your character's body. At the very least, the femme version gets around that by just having chainmail there. It's a lazy, easy fix, I guess. But I can't deny it. This stupid looking armor has meaning to me. And because of that, I gotta at least give it A rank, right? It's not good. It's really not. But it means something. It means something. All right. Let's look into the future and look at glass armor here, which they dialed it back. They made it a lot more emerald. It's a lot less of a like lime green. It's a lot, they took away a lot of the yellow, threw in some blue, added a whole lot more metal to sort of mix with it. There's a weird like, oh yeah, look, it's here too. This like feathery flame, or a feather, whatever this is, flooping out of the middle. It looks leaps and bounds better. Having the metal show up here, and this being like a bit of a darker colored metal, at least as it appears here, it meshes very, very well with the glass, right? And the different layers of it. They really redesigned a lot of the like chest area, the upper like pectoral region. They redesigned so much of it, and frankly, it works out pretty well, right? There's so little of it is held over, right? Like this entire piece is missing. They kept these little dots here, the 4 little dots. They kept that. But this is, yeah, this is like completely redesigned and is just made straight up metal with a little glass doohickey in the middle. It looks so much better. It once again looks like a fucking bird. Everything is looking like a damn bird. But you know what? I don't even hardly notice it in its wings as it's flying down to attack your crotch. It's pretty good. It's pretty damn good. They salvaged it. It looks decent. You know what? It looks amazing. I'll give it that much. It actually, the silhouette of it is pretty damn good. I would be happy to wear it. The only downside is I don't know if there's any more, if there's like a good matching hood if you didn't want to wear the helmet. Thankfully, the helmet doesn't look as bad. Somehow they salvaged that too. Why did it have that black part there? Well, it's because it had a layer. Silly, that's why. Yeah, what a save. Maybe the biggest rescue mission that they pulled off is making that armor work. Somehow it happened. And you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to give it an A rank. I'm giving it an S rank. Fuck it. It's really good. It's very good. It's very good. All right. Well, I think that concludes all of our core game stuff. At least of, not really. Our core game stuff as it pertains to, like leveled loot and all of that you find, like leveled tiered armor and whatnot. Instead, let's move on over to some variants, right? We talked about steel armor before. How about we take a peek at the Blackwood Co. armor? Which I think is an egregious sin, actually committed. We just spent some time glazing the remaster. Now let's take it back. You know what? Maybe this picture doesn't even do it justice. Hang on. Let's see. Oblivion Blackwood Company armor. Let's see. Blackwood Company. Yeah, this may be better. Okay. Take a look at this, courtesy of the uesp.net. Here we actually, this does what we were talking about when it comes to sort of, this is like using the same mesh, I believe, as steel armor. But it's a unique sort of look to it because all of the design on it is completely different, right? The shoulders are looking wild as hell and are actually working out because, crucially, they didn't throw in a bunch of fucking color to make it like look like a damn mess, right? They made it kind of blend in with itself, although it is like a visual disaster in some ways. It's subtle enough, the color work is subtle enough to where it blends in, I think. And then what does pop is the like axe and sword or dagger with the history in the middle for Blackwood Company. It looks really good. And crucially, it's also like a darker shade of metal compared to your regular steel. It looks very good, you know? I like it quite a bit. I think you can also custom enchant it, right? You can also custom enchant this stuff. And it's great. It's great. The Blackwood Company armor, as it appears in original Oblivion, pretty damn good. I'm giving it an A rank. Now, they fucked it up. Like I alluded to, they really fucked it up because this is how it looks in the remaster. They took a damn shortcut with it where it doesn't have all of the cool filigree or design and everything on the shoulders. None of it is coming through right here on these little flaps. It's just the same as steel armor. It's visually identical to steel armor in every way except you got the little icon on your tummy. And the icon, the logo, the Blackwood Company logo is smaller. It's not as big, it's not as prominent. It's not as well contrasting. It's so much a letdown. It may as well just be steel armor. Which it is, right? But it looked super cool. Like we just saw a picture of it. It looked super cool in the original, and they fucked it up by not giving it the attention that it deserved, I think. Thus, it is on par with standard steel. Maybe even worse. Maybe it's lower. It's a lower C because they fucked it up, right? It should have had more attention. That was the exact same damn NPC, and dude just didn't look as cool because it just looked like regular ass steel. Didn't hit. Did not work. Okay. Now, what else do we have next here? More stuff in the core game. We've got the Legion Guard armor, right? Their iconic Legion Guard armor. Fuck me. Let's see here. Let me load this up in our little fun viewer. There we are. Close out that. All right. We all know him. We all love him. It's the Legion Guard in the Imperial City. Some of them riding around on horseback. Sometimes there's the Foresters who have like the mishmash of some parts of this armor and other junk too. It's what the dude in the main trailer at the end, who looks kind of like deranged and sinister as he like stabs his claymore into the fiery ground or whatever. He looks up and he's smiling at you. He looks like he could be the villain of the game, but I guess he's meant to be the hero of Kvatch. I don't know. But anyway, the armor is fantastic. It doesn't fall prey to a lot of the issues that Oblivion's armor does fall prey to, right? It can't be over-designed because it's so simple and beautiful, right? It has some subtle lines that you see here going along, right? There's signs of like wear and tear. There's some nice like heathering and weathering on the armor, the metal plating itself. The silhouette is unmistakable. Everything just comes together. The way in which the big belt here sort of meshes with the like Roman pleated kilt skirt situation looks great. They got the big belt buckle, and your eye is drawn also to the symbol of the Tamrielic Empire, the dragon. It's just fantastic all around. It is just a great looking, fantastic dope ass set of armor. Honestly, it's so good and iconic to me. I wish that it still was present in Skyrim, right? I wish that like this just became like, yeah, for hundreds of years they just use this armor. I think it's actually significantly cooler than any of the Legion armor present in Skyrim. I mean, shit, same goes for Morrowind, right? It's literally the best Legion armor ever. It looks so good. It is fantastic. It's just good as hell. They kept it simple. It's, like I said, good use of contrast here, where you see the plating end and you get like other bits of chain, some of the gambeson poking through, different color work on like the more cloth and leather parts. The studs pop out a whole lot in a good way. The pleats on the skirt end at just the right point to where you got the boots coming in. It just looks spectacular. It's so good. It's absolutely iconic. It's an S rank. It's an S rank to be sure. There is beauty in keeping it simple. In like, it's so simply done, but succinctly so. Thus, I have to give it an S rank. Legion Guard, you're an S rank. I think he even beat out Glass. It's fantastic. One of the best. All right. And then we can look at what they do with the remaster. My problem with it as it appears in the remaster is it's just missing something. This sometimes happens in the remaster and in many remasters where the color grading gets a little bit changed. You can still see some of the like more brown coming through, which I don't know, maybe it's meant to evoke like rust, which is even cooler, right? It's even more evocative of like the status of the Legion and all that. But it's so much more ever present here, right? I like that this is a bit more brown with some of the like steel gunmetal gray coming through. Here it's the inverse of it. It's predominantly the gunmetal gray with some of the like brown coming through. It's so unnecessarily desaturated, and dare I say, look down here. I think their boots and like greaves fit together better in the original than the remake, right? The angular nature of it, you know? They also got rid of some of the height on the shoulders, right? They rounded them out a bit more, which I don't actually like. I liked it. I liked the height of it because it worked with It worked with the gloves feeding into the silhouette of a bit of the chest plate, and crucially, the helmet, right? I think they fucked it up a little bit. I don't think the new shit looks as good. Yeah, I think the old way, the old style of it was just better. I think also, crucially, sure, belt buckle there, but I don't think you needed to do that, because this is your belt buckle. You just pretend like it's behind there. I don't think it was necessary to have this extra little bit. It draws your eye too much. Oh, you just want this down here, the fucking hexagon. Instead, I think having the buckle there is the wrong choice. And I feel like the colors were off, you know? Like, this is lighter. Like, your eye almost gets drawn down to the crotch zone, you know, because there's some color there. Whereas here in the original, your eye is drawn kind of upward, you know? It's drawn to the actual dude's face. Like, this is dark enough, even with the buckle popping, it avoids that issue. I think the original is just better. I think that's good because they were dealing with, like, a good source material, but I don't think it outshines the original at all. Genuinely. I think they fucked it up a bit. I'll give it an A rank, but I think the original Legion Guard, dope as hell. Too damn good. All right, while we're dealing with the Legion, how about we look at, why not the Palace Guards? Why not? As we move deeper into the Imperial City to the Imperial City Palace, right? These are the guards who are standing in and around. You also encounter some of them being like captains of the guard and whatnot, like your Hieronymus Lex and all that. All right. Now, similar to before, I don't think that this is over-designed. I genuinely think, like, this is somewhat of a palette swap of what came before. They almost run the risk here of the boots and whatnot, the gold trim popping a little too much because there's not enough up here on, like, the shoulders and gloves. But thankfully, I think the chest piece makes up for it. All of this here, it draws your eye. And the helmet, crucially, has a lot of very apparent rivets, which they were not as apparent on the standard Legion armor, right? And I think that does work for it. I think it keeps your focus directed where it wants to be. And I think it looks spectacular. I think it's fantastic. I think it's an A ranker. It's not quite as good. Like, it's a little too ostentatious for me, personally. But it's still solid, right? Not quite as dope as, like, the hardened Legion Guard. Just being the fucking legionary dude. You know, I love the wear and tear on it. It looks like you've been through some shit. It looks like you're ready to fucking help some people, like, fend off some fucking Daedra, you know? Now, we gaze into the future. And we have this. Which, once again, I think they fuck it up. I think they fuck it up. They sort of fall prey into, like, over-designing it. I find it interesting that they changed the color of the small belt to match the buckle almost, right? I feel like we got too much bright gold. Notice how the gold in the pleats of the, like, skirt in the future, in the remaster, they pop a lot more. They're like thicker lines. Whereas here in original, they're a lot thinner. They're a lot less noticeable, right? I do appreciate that they dialed it down on the, like, greaves and leggings. But then they dial it up so much with, like, the shoulders. I feel like doing all this extra shit with the shoulders was unnecessary, right? They rounded them out rather than making them as vertical as they used to be. I loved how vertical they were. You know, I think that was excellent. But they just did too much. They thickened this trim a bit. Right here, it's very subtle. They over-designed it. They fucking over-designed it a bit much. I don't think it's as good once again. We gotta dock them some points. Crucially, a part that I really dislike. Here, this is once again where I think some of the color blending works out well. This is like a high visual interest area. There's a lot of fucking shit going on. But the way in which the color grading works, right, it's kind of like light colors on light colors. It blends in, and your eye is just drawn to, like, the dude's face, right, who's talking. However, and this is also because of some of the issues with, like, Unreal Engine and the lighting there, right? People give BGS and their game engine some fucking grief, and I think a lot of it is fucking undue, because, you know, I on like a holistic level, I'm just more in favor of having more varied game engines in existence rather than like, oh, everybody should just use Unreal Engine 5, 6 or whatever. I don't like the idea of that because it takes away just another part of like different games having like different feels, different vibes, different souls, if you will. But also you get some of this like effect of the Unreal Engine lighting, right? Wherein a lot of times, like, unless you're in conversation with them where you get the conversation lighting, the face is a bit darker, as you see here, right? There's no reason why this part of the face wouldn't also be lit up, you know? But such is the way of things. When you, like I said, when you get in conversation, it looks a bit better. But perhaps the worst of all, and it's guilty of it even in conversation. I'm pretty sure in our playthrough I remarked on it. I don't like this neck part, right? How it's got all these gold lines coming from it. It is so over-designed. I hate it. It's way too ostentatious for Elder Scrolls, I think. It doesn't feel Elder Scrolls to me. Same goes for like all of the gold filigree and like whatever you call it, design on the pauldrons. I don't like it at all. They're doing too much. You gotta dial it back. Right? It doesn't feel right to me. It feels off. And because of that, just as before, I gotta dock it a tier, right? It goes down again. This is another case where I think they fucked it up. Let's see, where is the... Let's see, Palace Guard. There we are. And we gave that an A rank. Yeah, I'm bringing it down to B. I don't think it's as good. I think... I hate looking at them, and they have all of this shit going on at the neck. That's the worst of it, I think, because, you know, you oftentimes see that part because you're talking to these people, right? That's at eye level for most characters. I don't enjoy it. I think it's fucking rough. All right. Now, let's round things out with the Imperial Dragon armor, which I believe this is what Martin Septim wears toward the end of the main story quest, and what you can get for yourself at the very end. It's your final reward. Which unfortunately it is always enchanted. So, it's not that good to use because by that point you'd much rather put a custom enchant on this stuff rather than take what they give you. Such is the way of things. But yeah, here's Imperial Dragon armor. Speaking of things that are over-designed, this is where the core game kind of fails at it as well. It goes back into its old habits of just having too much shit going on. It's meant to be like this endgame super dope armor and all of that, but it looks like it was designed by a child. It looks like it was designed by a child who was just like, oh yeah, throw gold on it, put gold trim on it, put fucking black and gold, that's cool, right? It's like, it's so fucking juvenile. I do not like it at all, right? I do not like. Let's look into the future real quick as well. Yeah, it's the same issue, and in fact, this is one of the situations where like their color blending is actually failing. Normally they're quite good at the color blending and all of that on the armor, if that's even what you want to call it. But here you get like, they decide to throw a bunch of white and gold up here, and it just meshes together in a disgusting look. It looks like oil mixing around, right? It's like you found a puddle of oil and like it's got all the colors in it and stuff. It's evoking that. It looks foul. I do not like it at all. And thankfully it's like a shit ass piece of armor, right? I don't know fucking anybody who wears it for more than like a minute. They're both, are they C or D rank? Yeah, they're D rank because they fuck up something good, right? I love that we exist in a world where the Legion Guard armor, the basic ass Legion Guard armor, is top tier, and the fancy schmancy shit, it's over-designed. It's trash. It's over-designed bullshit. It's too much. Too much is going on. Put it down there. All right, not that far down. There we go. Nothing is worse than Elven. All right, what do we want to handle next? How about the inverse of this? How about we look at the Mythic Dawn? Right? How about we take a gander at their whole business? Let me load them up here. Now, crucially, the Mythic Dawn equipment, the player character you cannot get, but you will see it a lot, right? Because this is the bound armor that they are keen to, but not always. They're keen to summon and don it themselves as they try and battle you, right? You see it a lot in the opening, and throughout the main story quest, you see it here and there. But it's the Mythic Dawn armor. Honestly, it doesn't look cool at all. It's just got too much shit going on. I hate the way the little bits of red down here look popping out. It just has like no visual cohesion whatsoever. I think maybe I prefer the feminine version that has like this big swooping chest piece or whatever the fuck you want to call it. That's kind of neat, right? I don't know. And the big like belt that both of them have, what the fuck is going on? I don't know. It's hideous. I do not like it at all. I don't get why this one has like some red here. I don't fully understand that. But either way, this isn't much better. This isn't much better. The only redeeming part is like their haunting face, right? The little units sticking up. I don't know why Oblivion is so keen on giving so many headgears, so many bits of headgear, like this little fucking alfalfa hair poking directly up. I think that's god awful. But the rest of it, it looks sinister. It looks fun, right? I love the like iron mask and all of that. That's kind of cool, especially with the way the eyes are sunken in. That's pretty neat, and the way it catches the light. I do like that. But a lot of it is ass, right? It's just too much shit poking off of it. Look at all this. Look at all that. The fucking claw hands. I do not care for it whatsoever. It wishes it were as cool as the Daedric armor, which maybe that says something, right? I'm going to give it a C rank because the hat is kind of neat. The hat is kind of neat. Let's look into the future. Once again, I don't really like it beyond the hat. They do a lot better with where the red is like pieced out and all of that. But so much of like the chest piece, it looks so much just like generic MMORPG armor, right? This looks like the type of shit I'm gonna get on a character in like Terra. I don't even think that game's around anymore. It just doesn't evoke Elder Scrolls to me. It looks so uncool. I guess maybe because it's not pulling from any, at least as far as I know, I don't think it's pulling from any like real world culture in whatever way, you know, which is always fun with Elder Scrolls, is whenever they're pulling from real world culture. Maybe the hat is vaguely, And maybe that's why I think the hat is kind of cool, right? The whole mask situation. I love the use of like the cloth with the like metal faceplate or whatever you want to say. I think there's little like runes and stuff etched right here on either of these. But otherwise, I don't know. This is the main part that you see, and I just do not like it. Right? I'd so much rather it just be like a solid piece of metal. It's like, I don't want all the little like designs everywhere. It's so over-designed. Keep the head over-designed with all the like, it almost looks like wrinkles in the face. That's super dope. I'd be down for this to be like darker or have less shit going on. You know? It's got too much to look at. Yeah, it's a fucking mess. It's a mess. There's too much going on. The shoulders are giving World of Warcraft. Which it works there, but here, this is Elder Scrolls land, right? We ain't about that. I'm gonna... I'm putting it right next to the normal one, the OG one. Alright. Well, we've flipped back and forth between these. Why don't we flip back over once again to the protagonist side of things with the blades. Let's take a look at them in our big super viewer. Let's see here. Now, this is one of the ones where I had such a tough time finding images of the Blade's armor, right? So I just looked up like, here's Boris, here's Captain Renault, right? Here we go. In the original game, I actually really love the Blade's armor. I think it's fantastic. I think it's one of my favorite iterations of the Blade's armor. I think it's exceptional. I think it has just enough of the like design going on. Crucially, they do fantastic with the color blending. There's a lot of cool points of articulation. Nothing stands out too much. It blends together just enough. I think it's exceptional stuff. There's also good parity between like the styling of the armor between the masculine and feminine form. There's nothing too wild going on with like the shoes or the arms that draws your head away. I feel like your eyes are drawn to the right places. It's simple enough. It looks practical. It's drawing from real world culture like we just talked about. Always fun in Elder Scrolls land. It's just a very good, sensible suit of armor, right? It's very good. As per usual, I love the cloth coming through here. I think it's done in a very tasteful way. Even got some little blue tassels, but the tassels aren't so bright. They don't like draw your eye unless you're like deliberately looking around seeking them out. You know, it's very well designed armor. I think it's really, really well done. I wouldn't say it's like an S rank. It's not like a personal fave, but I really enjoy it a lot. I'm giving it an A. I'm giving it an A. And let's look into the future at what we have here. Once again, I think it's solid. I think it's solid. It looks a little bit more bulky. Everything is a little bit more cumbersome. But still, I think it pulls off the exact same thing. It's a little bit shinier to look at, right? But otherwise, you know, they couldn't veer too far away from what was there. We once again have Boris and Captain Renault here. But yeah, I think it's just solid. I think it's solid. They changed away a little bit of this, like the cloth in between the string or whatever, lacing it up. I think that's now blue. Yeah, here it's brown, maybe yellowish. They changed that around. I don't know why you would do that. I feel like it was fine. Maybe to differentiate that it's a different material. Maybe in that sense. Bring some more of the blue up. I don't know. But otherwise, yeah, I think it's solid. They made this guard go down a lot deeper, right? In the remaster, they made that come down a lot deeper, which I think is fine. It's nailing the color blending. It's got a really intricate design on it and pattern on the leather portion. Same for down here, but the color blending is perfect. It doesn't pop out too much. It adds visual interest without being distracting. You know, I think it's solid. I think it's also an A rank. You know, they didn't fuck it up. The Blade's armor is still good, and I love the little dragon. Right, the little dragon on top is more evident. Which here, You could, if you told me this was a dragon, you could have fooled me. maybe it wasn't. Maybe they turned it into one. All right. Let's see. Let's put this up there again in A rank. I think the new one is, well, I don't know. They're different flavors. They're slightly different. I like them both. Yeah, I like them both. Okay. Let's see. What else do we have in the core game? We could delve into a bit of faction stuff, right? We could go into stuff with like, yeah, the shrouded armor. Or no, let's go with city guards. The city guards, right. Okay. So these are the counterparts to the Legion guards and stuff as they occupy the cities, or the city, the Imperial city. These city guards sort of go around, you know, the other cities in the game, right? Like this, I believe, is the Coral Guard for both of these, right? Isn't this Coral? And you've got all of your other ones here as well, including Kavach. For a lot of these, it's a palette swap, which is why here I've only got like a guard, a Coral Guard, with their little tabards and stuff, which I think this one is incorrect. This might be bugged. The item, when you drop it, looks different from how when it is worn by the NPCs, right? I think that has a more intricate design. But yeah, I think it's solid. They look like appropriate guards, right? It's not too distracting. It's not too bright. It's all good stuff, right? They're guards. They're in some ways in the game world expendable. I think they did a good job, right? I think they did a good job. Solid stuff. Wouldn't want to dress up as one, but cool. I like it. I would give it a B rank. I would give it a, yeah, B rank right there. Well, yeah, city guards right there, B. Pretty high B rank. And then we can look into the future. And here they actually did some really amazing stuff, I noticed. Whoever designed these kind of went wild with the detail and didn't make it too distracting. It still looks very sensible, very solid stuff. If anything, maybe the most unfortunate part of it is that it looks so generic fantasy. You kind of lose out on the Empire's like real world Roman cultural influences, right? You don't really get any of that coming through, but I don't really knock them for it, you know, because I think Oblivion as a whole, unfortunately, is lacking some of that where it could otherwise be. So I don't knock that aesthetically, at least for the most part. But here in the remaster, you get the quilted nature of the tabard or the doublet or whatever it is. It comes through a lot better without being distracting. The crest is still very much at the forefront, or the emblem. I don't know what you call it. You notice as well that there are some that don't have this like crest or emblem at the forefront, right? I think this is Anvil. Is this Leowin? I think, right? But other ones like Skingrad and whatnot, they have it very obviously. What I think is very cool is the way in which the quilts are slightly different. You can almost tell this is like a rhombus, I think, in the Anvil one, rather than the diamond quilt pattern, right? They actually vary it up. This has some more leather reinforcing it. Just kind of fun. And of course the Kavach and, is this Breville? I don't know. The Kavach one and whatever is next to it don't have any of that quilt design. And the Skingrad one has the quilt, the diamond quilt at the top, and then it goes long on the way down, which is a little bit of a wild and interesting choice. But I enjoy them either way, right? I think it's very successful. I think it's very good. I think it's important that you see a lot of these guards going around. I think it's good that they look good. right? They should look good and guardly, right? To make it fun when you're fighting them or running from them, or they're maybe even helping you close an Oblivion gate. Very good stuff. I like it. You know what? I'll give that an A rank. I think they did improve upon the original there. Let's see. Let's scroll down here, and what all is next within the core game? Oh yeah, the faction stuff we alluded to. Right. Let's deal with the Dark Brotherhood first and foremost here when we tend to the factions. So let's go with the Shrouded Armor. This, I don't even remember if you, the player, can get your hands on Shrouded Armor. Right? I don't remember. But it's very straightforward, to the point. I actually prefer the Shrouded Armor here in Oblivion to the Dark Brotherhood armor as it appears in Skyrim. I don't like the look of the Skyrim Dark Brotherhood armor at all, which isn't to say that I particularly love it here, but I think it's significantly better. I don't really like the bands or rings or whatever these are going across the like calves, the forearms, the biceps. I don't really enjoy any of that. But otherwise, yeah, you look kind of like an assassin executioner situation. It's okay, right? It's fine. I do like the way in which this collar or whatever, this belt is up here, cinching it around your head. I wish that one chainmail outfit kind of had that effect, right? It's interesting to see it here, but not there. Yeah. It's nothing too remarkable, which is, I guess, the point, right? It shouldn't be remarkable because you're meant to be an assassin, right? I just wish I liked their armor more, given like how popular and interesting their quest arc tends to be. I'll give it a B for basic, right? It's okay. It gets the job done. It doesn't speak out to me. And then if we look into the future, they didn't really have much to work with. They just kind of carried it forward. They changed around some of the sizes and the count of these belts. As you can see, there's 2 here around the waist and one kind of on like the upper or lower around the solar plexus. They made it 2 right there. I think they embiggened, yeah. They got rid of the double belt and just made it one big one, which I think works a lot better. You know, I think that's a lot better. Yeah, generally I do like it. There's another palette swap of this. Oh yeah, it has the hand right there in the shoulder pad. Does the old one have that? I think so. I think the old one does too. Yeah. It's all right. I do like the way in which all of these bands here, which I didn't like, I don't really understand them. Here they're given a bit more meaning and context. They are like, it's like rope meant to tie your shit closer to your body, you know? And they blend, the color blending is quite good, you know? I do think it's an improvement, but I don't know if it's that significant of an improvement. I'll give it the same rank, but I'll give it like a higher B, you know? It's not too big of a deal, right? I do, maybe I like the way the hood hits a bit better. Maybe I do like that, but a lot of the guild members that you interact with do not wear that hood, right? A lot of them, frankly, some of them don't even wear the fucking shrouded armor, you know? All right, what else is next? How about we deal with, the arena, I guess. We'll go with the Raiment of Valor. Okay. Let's see here. Now, this is one of them that I had one hell of a time trying to find the images for, right? This one, it was quite the fucking task. I think this one is, yeah, these images I had to get from the fandom wiki. But this is OG Raiment of Valor, like we had said at the top. When it comes to the raiments in Oblivion, they're pretty much identical except for palette swaps. even, correct me if I'm wrong, even between light and heavy versions. That said, I tried to double check and I just couldn't find anyone posting like a bunch of pictures of it, right? So my apologies if this is actually not the case. All in all, it looks like stuff for like fighting in a damn like Roman-esque arena and all of that, which here you actually, yeah, ironically here you get a lot of the Roman culture bleeding through the bloodworks. I don't particularly like it. I enjoy the significance of it, the cultural significance of it, but I do not like the look of it whatsoever. In particular, the shoes, if you can even call them that, are fucked up and weird. Looks like some shit that like a Cenobite would wear or would make you wear. Right? You know what I'm saying? You fucking open their puzzle box and they put these shoes on you as torture pleasure. You know? It's fine. It's fine, I guess. It's not amazing. It's one of the more dinky, rinky-dinky looking armors, I would say. I'm gonna give it a C rank because I just don't really care for it. You know, it doesn't do anything amazing, and nobody ever wants to wear it after the fact. You just wear it because you have to during the damn quest, right? But somehow, despite all that, they managed to make it worse in the remaster. I want to know what the fuck happened. This is the Raiment of Valor, and it's meant to be evoking, I think, I don't even know, actually. Right? I don't actually know what the fuck they were thinking with this. We've praised the remaster before in the realm of like, oh, the color grading on so much of it is amazing. They do great work blending stuff and all that. Here, they've lost their fucking minds. My man here on the right is looking like some character out of like He-Man and the Masters of the Universe with this yellow. I can only assume that they wanted to have like all the fuck, because in the original, it's like beige, it's tan, right? It looks very tasteful and elegant, even if the armor doesn't, but the color scheming looks very good. This is the shit that like the Grey Prince wears. I can only assume that it looks this way because it's incorporating the color blue and yellow for the blue and yellow teams in the arena. But God, it looks atrocious. Even this is barely good, I feel, right? It looks hideous. It looks so bad, man. I think especially having the like yellow boots, it's god awful. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. It's abhorrent. Like, why did you think that you had to incorporate blue and yellow when the originals didn't? Right? Only the team-based colors did. I don't know why that got in their head to do that. Right? Especially one-sided. Why does the light armor version of it not have any yellow? It doesn't make any sense. It's so fucking weird to me. And just the makeup of it in general is so weird to me. Like, I really dislike how they gave like texture to this part, right? This almost looks like scaling here, right? In the middle by the insignia. And then on the sides, it's like pulled leather or something. Whereas here, it looks like cloth, draping cloth, or chainmail. But maybe that's not what that is. I don't know. No, it's scale. It's scaling, isn't it? Yeah, why did they invert it? Why is the scaling part right here when it should be on the outside? What happened? And then this? Why did they decide to put scaling on the shoulders? None of this shit makes any sense. And this is like leather now, when this looks like it was clearly meant to be like cloth wrapped around and bound around your forearms and hands. Whereas here, it's leather. None of this shit makes any sense. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking when they did this, right? Thank God the rest of the game was not like this, because this is maybe the most egregious fuck up of them all, right? I don't know. There was some stuff with the Legion armor. Nah, because this has like both the texture and like just aesthetic choices of it were fucked. Yeah, I do not like the Raiment of Valor at all in the remaster. It looks cartoonish. Let's see. That is a D rank. I don't know what they were thinking. What a fucking mess. All right, well, let us check out... Oh yeah, this is a Fighters Guild reward. I think it's tied to a Fighters Guild quest. Brusef Amelian's set. Let's see here. Which, this is sort of the inverse of what they had done. In the original, it's kind of blindingly bright, right? I don't know why it's... I don't even remember it being this blindingly bright. I do remember it being sort of this, but not this bad. Maybe these screenshots have their saturation tuned around a bit. But either way, it's basically a palette swap of ebony armor. But you get this during a Fighters Guild quest, and it unfortunately comes pre-enchanted. But fortunately, in the original game, I think it looks kind of ass. It looks way too, like, frosty and cold, you know? There's maybe a case that it could look... No, I don't know. It's just like... Ebony armor in Oblivion isn't my favorite ebony armor, and this is just, like, making it worse. Now, if we come over here, we look at the future version, right? Now, this, I think we're fucking cooking with something, huh? Correct me if I'm wrong, but the ebony version, hang on, let's rank the base version, the OG version. I don't like it. It goes right there. But if we look at, let me also bring up the new games, the remasters Ebony. Does it have even different? Yeah, it has different, like, filigree and designs on it. Look at that. I think it's so much more tastefully done. And crucially, doesn't have the big stupid eyebrows, right? Which I really, really hate. I would even say that it looks like a completely different set of armor. It doesn't even look like, right? The original is meant to look like the ebony, right? There's no question about that. Let's load it up here, right? The original looks like the ebony. It even has the same sexual dimorphism, right? There's the sideways belt and everything. But in the remaster, it just looks like a whole new set of armor. It doesn't even look like it's evoking... Yeah, look. See, these are metal clasps here. See these? Those are metal clasps. And yet here, they're leather belts. Adhering it, or like keeping it attached. This has like a square or rectangular belt buckle with like a metal reinforced tip. Here, it dangles all the way down. Yeah, it's completely different armor. Why is there like a totally unique armor set for Brusef Amelian shit? Why did it get such special treatment? Either way, it looks fucking incredible, actually. And the big shame of it is... Oh, and look, it's got these little jewels and stuff in part of the, like, intricate filigree design that are even lighter versions of the, like, metals color. It's exceptionally well done. But yeah, once again, the problem is that no one's going to wear this armor because it's already enchanted. You know? What a shame. There is, like, asymmetry here, with this being, like, a more rectangular pauldron on the character's left, and then rounded on the character's right. I don't know why that is. It kind of, well, no, it is meant to evoke the, yeah, the ebony. Weird how there's so many differences, though. Right? Like, look, there's this extra little bit here, and it's just not present. Huh. I genuinely think that this looks better than the ebony armor. It looks fantastic. Absolutely love it. You know what? I'm gonna give it like I'm gonna give it an S rank. I really love the look of it. It looks fucking amazing. I really like it. It's subtle in all the right ways. It's intricate in all the right ways. The color blending on all of it is fantastic. It just looks dope as hell. Big fan of it. All right. Now, let's see. What all else do we have? We can start up Knights of the Nine, which we only have one set of armor for, which is the set of armor, right? It's the big one. Hang on, let me take another drink of water here. We've been going for quite some fucking time. Oh my gosh, is this going to be the longest ranking video I ever do? Probably not. At least for now, though, it'll be. Let's see, let's load up the Crusader stuff. There we are. Take a drink here, apologies. Okay. Good. So this is OG Crusader armor. Pelinal's suit from Knights of the Nine. Got the famed bucket hat, the red diamond of the Empire right in the middle of the tabard. It's a very simple design of armor, but man, that it sort of evokes my favorite shit to do with the Elder Scrolls, right? It's some of my favorite shit is when they do armor that's kind of simple and mundane looking, but it just looks fucking dope. It just hits right. You know, I don't want it to be so high fantasy. I don't want it to look like some anime bullshit. Sorry. I don't want it to look over designed. It's just fucking solid. And that is exactly what this is. There's a reason why it's such a fan favorite. It looks great. It looks great. Also, of course, drawing on some like cultural history, maybe less savory compared to what Pelinal got up to in dealing with all of the slaving aliens and all that and murdering the hell out of them. But yeah, Pelinal. The Crusader armor, very cool. From a mechanical standpoint, a pain in the ass because if you do anything to incur infamy, you can no longer use it. Right? You don't get the benefits from it. And if you have it unequipped, you can't equip it. In fact, I think it like pops off of your character, doesn't it? But either way, it's an S ranker. Not my style, but man, I love it. I love that it exists out there for those who appreciate it. All right. And then, oops, sorry. Let's bring this up. And let's look into the future, which the future version of it, it makes some very subtle changes. I think on average, the head is a bit bigger. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, I think the head is a bit bigger. Also, crucially, there is a bit more gold added to like the trim here, right? It's made way more gold, right? Whereas here, it's got like this sort of roping design to it, but it's not very gold at all, right? Most of that is maintained in the tabard itself around the diamond and around the edges, or the doublet, whatever it's called. And I do appreciate it there. Here, I feel like they zooshed it up too much. They gave it too much pomp and circumstance when the original was just so fucking like, it was beautiful how plain it was. You know, there was beauty in it in just being like, yeah, I'm just a fucking like crusading paladin ass knight. I'm just going around fucking up aliens, or in this case, fucking up meridians. Yeah. I think they maybe ruined it a bit. And they shrunk the diamond, no? Or at the very least, they uncentered it. Yeah. Huh. And crucially here as well, you have this metal part here, which there's clearly like a defined line, right? And maybe they made that bigger to balance out the huge head, which they now have. Because here it's not that big, but it's balanced out with the chest plate, you know? And then down here, the tabard part, or the doublet part, looks extra long. And that is helped by this layering effect, right? Look at how much bigger the layering is here compared to here, where it's fucking minuscule, dude. You can barely see it. I so much more prefer the original of it. I like how elongated it looks, because it evokes like a long coat or something that would flutter around in the wind or with your movement, you know? And I like the like wrinkles and it doesn't do it in the game, obviously, because it wasn't capable of it, but it alludes to like the tabard draping and sort of like twisting with the body in a satisfying way. Yeah, I very much like that. I think they got rid of some of that. They lost some of it here. No good. I think in some ways they ruined it a bit, right? You wouldn't be able to tell without looking at them back to back. But I think I'm going to dock it 2 levels, right? It actually like ruined parts of it. I think the subtlety of it was good. No? Right there. Okay. Let's see. What have we got here next? How about we start up... I suppose we'll start up Shivering Isles, right? Let's begin with the Dark Seducers and Golden Saints. Saints and Seducers, huh? I guess Saints and Seducers. We'll start with the Saints. Okay. Now, these, once again, were ones that I had difficulty finding pictures of, right? This was a bit of a challenge, finding them from both timelines. Okay. So, once again, we have the masculine form on the left, and here on the right, the feminine form, which these are pictures of the Golden Saint armor as worn by Golden Saints. But, of course, you, the player, can also wear them. I believe the unfortunate part of it is that this armor, this equipment, counts as multiple slots. It's like one of those. It kind of like a robe, if you will. Thus, you lose out on enchantments if you actually want to wear it. So in practice, not that many people wear them, because even if you're playing on like easier difficulties and stuff, who doesn't want an extra enchant? You know, you really have to be like toward the end of the game and being like, yeah, I'm giving up a lot of function for a little bit of form. But regardless, here we have it. I don't know. I think it looks all right. It's sort of, especially with the Femme version, is meant to be a callback to like Golden Saints as they had appeared before. Same goes for Dark Seducers. My main sort of grounds of acknowledgement for that is Morrowind. But I believe they also, or at least Dark Seducers also existed in Daggerfall, and their outfit is a bit of a callback to that, right? But otherwise, it's okay. I mean, we're dealing with like otherworldly supernatural beings. It's meant to evoke like, I guess, a Valkyrie situation with the hat, right? You know, it's meant to be sexy. It's meant to be kind of sexy. And I think it works wonders on the feminine version. The problem is the masculine version looks god awful. I don't know if there's much, if any, sex appeal at all in this like whole chess piece situation. I think that's rather wretched, right? And mind you, it's like the Saints and Seducers are like a matriarchal society, but even if we wanted to be like, okay, this is meant to be like kind of a fuckboy or like femboy sort of situation with the armor, I don't think it does it that well either. You know, I don't think it does like, you know, that whole vibe at all. I really don't like all this shit sort of like spinning off into the center and this shit. I think like the line work on it in general, it just leads you around in a idiotic way, right? I hate this like implication of like an enormous belt down here. I don't think you should have that if you're a masculine golden saint, right? I don't think you should have anything that evokes any idea of like earth traditional ideas of masculinity. I don't know if you should have that, right? I don't know how that works, but I feel like maybe you ought not. You should be expressing masculinity in a very different way. This looks terrible, this like skirt thing, especially as it's blown up when you're crouched into combat. It's just rough looking, you know? It just looks bad. The shoulders are maybe okay, but really the chess piece takes so much away. And because of that, I gotta dock them, right? I gotta dock them some points. Let's see here. Down this way. Let's go to... Do I want to give them a C rank? Yeah, I don't think they're like a B average. I think it's a C rank on account of like being pulled down by the masculine one. Yeah, the feminine one I think is quite nice, but the masculine one is pretty awful. Now, we can look into the future and see, did they fix anything? No, they really didn't. They really didn't. If anything, the feminine version looks even better. Right? It looks even cooler. This is like an alternate hat that has the gemstone in it. I think there are some that also have that, so maybe ignore that. But yeah, there's more fidelity afforded. Some of the like swooshing there, it looks a lot better, right? I like the way in which the shoulders are playing out. Yeah, it's just like it's a higher grade version of what was there. When it comes to the masculine form, I guess at the very least, these pleats down here look a bit more well-defined, right? They make more sense, compared to this fucking mess. And the scaling just above them as it connects up, right? That looks okay, I guess. But it still looks weirdly bulbous. I really like this whole situation. I do not enjoy these whatsoever. I don't know what that's meant to like do. Right? I hate this whole area still. I mean, it's an improvement over what was, but not by much. It hasn't left that much, right? It hasn't departed that far from what came. I guess I'll put it like right here, right between Steel and Orcish. If we're going that in depth with it. Okay. And then let's see here. Well, let's not look at them just yet. Let's load up the Dark Seducers and we'll take a gander at them real quick. There we are. Look, yeah, this is the one where I actually had to just take a screenshot from my own fucking playthrough because I couldn't find any like remaster versions of the masculine Dark Seducer. Anyway, I think that the Dark Seducer version is significantly better, even though they have this kind of ridiculous hedgehog headgear, right? I think it does the job so much better on both fronts, right? That said, maybe I'm the wrong person to be judging this type of masculinity, but I think that this pulls it off significantly better. If we just want to go with like the same way in which the femme Dark Seducer top sort of like exemplifies and like not exemplifies but highlights the titty zone, so too does the masculine one, right? Like the pecs are really highlighted with this like under V cut and all that. I think it looks pretty damn good. The pants here, I wonder if it would be better without the pants underneath though. You know, the rest of it, however, I feel like is working in a very cohesive way. If anything, maybe the Dark Seducer version is in some ways lacking, and maybe, yeah, maybe the fellas are kind of like a little too fucking sexy here. Huh. I do think that regardless, taken as a cohesive unit, I do think the Dark Seducer OG fit is better than this Golden Saint version, their counterpart. I'm going to give it a B rank. I think it's solid. I think it's solid. If the Dark Seducer femmes were maybe a little bit more zhushed up, then maybe I would be down for it. Okay. We'll put it right there. Well, right there. Okay. Yeah, ahead of Chainmail and Orcish and Ebony. All that stuff. Okay. Let's flip it back over here into the future. Now, although this is a bit of a weird looking Dark Seducer in the remaster, perhaps ignore the character looking a little bit weird. Let's focus on the armor. Honestly, I think this is kind of like hitting on both counts in a major way. I think both of them are doing very good, even with what I had to work with here for the image of the masculine type. It's sort of building up what already existed here in a major way. That said, I feel like it's a little too angular and not quite drawing as much to the titties, the pecs, and all of that. You know? I feel like it's maybe too angular, but it's not too bad. Right? I feel like what you gain on the femme ones is a lot more. You know, I feel like you get a lot more definition in these pleats down here. The whole like top makes a lot more sense visually. It doesn't look as messy. Just some fidelity gains, you know? It helps balance everything. It helps even everything out. Yeah. I would say it's good. I would say it's good. I don't know if it's A rank good, though. Perhaps high B. Let's go for that. Yeah, right here. Right after City Guard, but ahead of Shrouded. Okay. And then let us alternate over now once more to, oh goodness, how about, well, we've got the now crafted armors, which you get from the matrices that you pick up. You can sometimes find them as well, but the Amber and Madness ones, which you make from the Amber ore, or the Amber and the Madness ore. Let's see here. Let me bring these up. Whoops, not that one. Alrighty. Sure. And this is another one, once again, struggled to get a good picture. This, I think the Amber one here on the left is as it appears in the shop where you can get them crafted and all of that. They have like a display area. This is the masculine form. It looks very globule-y. I don't really like it. I appreciate what they're doing with the colors and the cloth, though. Right? Contrasting the green with the orange, which I guess is what you would want to do once again, Oblivion just suffering, OG Oblivion suffering from like really stupid headwear. The headwear situation is just really dumb. For some reason here as well. Oh, I know the reason. Okay. Has this deep cut, which this isn't the mystery to me. Obviously, sure, we're getting a little horny with it. There's this deep cut in the armor. Fuck it. Why not? Right. Let the titties breathe out a little bit if they may. Sure, I guess. God, I do not like these cuffs though down here. This is really absurd. You're looking like a what do you call it? Silver Age superhero with the cuffed boots. What the hell? Looking like my City of Heroes character. But regardless, even weirder than that is this like scarf, this cravat going around the neck. It makes no sense other than the fact that you need to have it because otherwise there would be a big seam there for the head and the body, you know, video games, right? Sometimes characters will be wearing like a necklace to help hide the seam, or in this case, they're wearing like a big scarf unit, which just kind of like goes down there. Personally, I just would have chosen not to have the titties out if you need to do that, right? But hey, it is what it is. I think it looks fucking terrible though, with all the line work. It looks so wavy and globulary. It looks, if you're into science fiction and the idea of living starships, it's evoking that for me. It's too alive for armor, right? It evokes something that is alive in a weird way that I don't like. And I do like bug shit. You know, I would think that I would like this because I enjoy so much like bug and chitin armor and stuff in Morrowind, but for some reason this just doesn't do it for me. I think it's because of all the like rounded edges. It's just gross. You know, nothing about it works for me in a weird way or in a good way. Yeah, the lines don't direct me in a interesting direction or anything. It's like you're fucking Benjamin Grimm or some shit. I don't enjoy it. The OG Amber armor, not a fan. Looks kind of gross. Honestly, yeah, I'm going to give it a high ranking D. I do not care for it. Let's look into the future now. How does this look? Oh, right, I only have the one. But I'm fairly certain that these are identical, right? There's a lot of gender parity here between the armor sets and all of that. And this does so much right. This should be a case study in like the drawing of lines in clothing or equipment. The way in which it sort of evokes the like heroic and frankly somewhat masculine like V, right? Really is working here a lot. Whereas here it looks like senseless globules. There's no proper direction. But here, right, you see these are sort of like working outward and all of that to sort of like broaden the shoulders and all that in such a way. This is what like a lot of men's tailoring and stuff does with like a suit jacket and stuff. That's why there's so many V's. You have like a necktie as well. Your shirt collar, it's all made to like evoke that, right? To have that sort of situation going on. And this isn't all too different. It's just a very satisfying way. They're all operating in like a similar direction. It's not like here where some of these feel like they're pointing in weird directions, these little globules. It feels like they were just drawn haphazardly. Here it feels like there was like intelligent design to it. Same goes for like the legs, right? Here you have ones that are like arcing over to the left. You know, this one kind of like over there, like it's a fucking cobblestone path. Here, they're like pointing upward, you know? It's receiving from there, right? There's there's a deliberateness to the angles that I actually really like. I don't like the orange color of it, but I do think it's significantly better than what came before. In that sense, I think I'll bump it up to an A rank, right? The new amber stuff, I think it's very, very good. Yeah, I'm putting it. Yeah, I'm putting it right there, right there. After OG Blackwood Co., but ahead of Remaster Legion Guard. Yeah, that one they really did a lot of work to make it work. All right. How about we now check out the other one, the Madness stuff. Let me see here and get this popping off. Okay, now this one's even more ridiculous with how I had to get these images. As you can see, this one is right here is what we're looking at for the feminine version. This is the armor. Right, this is, I forget where I got this, if this was off of UESP or not. I think it was. Either way, here's the mask version here. It's got like a weird evil face, right? Very fitting with the demented part of the Shivering Isles. Madness ore makes a lot of sense. There's another spooky, like, yelling face down here. This just manages to avoid issues from the core game with armor design, where this is bordering on being over-designed, but the way in which it flows, right? There's a lot of good flow in the equipment, right? So like here around the waist, you know, all of these, the way in which the lines are sort of angled, they draw your attention to this face. You know, same could even be said for your helmet, right? Which is a bit of a weird situation as well, where it folds out with the lines, drawing it down into this face once again. You know, same goes down here. You're either drawn to the knee pads, which have faces, or you're drawn further up and then down, or you're drawn further up into this sort of like skirt situation or whatever it's called, and then you go up into the big face, you know? It teeters on the edge, but it manages to succeed. Unfortunately, the femme version is not like that. The femme version looks ridiculously bad. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking with this. First of all, I fucking hate this divot here. It looks really idiotic, right? You're not even using it to show some skin if you're trying to do it for like, oh, it's horny, right? It's not even succeeding at that. It just looks like a pointless teardrop like divot right in the middle of the armor. You have these weird, sad, melancholic eyes that are formed from swirls around the titties. And the face here is just not as cool. The face here looks a lot sadder and more pathetic. It looks like a ghoul from Fallout who's just like about to die, right? It does not look as cool. And mind you, of course, there's also the faces in the shoulder pads, right? You can get a little look of it here. This one looks like an angry, like, Triceratops or something on the masculine version, right? You get a better angle of it there. It's like grimacing. It's like grinding its teeth. Here, it looks like another sad, like melancholic creature from like a water temple in a Zelda game, right? This looks like the type of dude you find out at the water temples. I generally don't like it, but perhaps most egregious of all is what's going on right here. Why is there this negative space right here between like the fur of the booties and the knee pads? Why is all of this just devoid of anything? Right? There's quite good direction when it came to like the way in which the lines draw your attention in the masculine version. And that's just not present at all in the femme version at all. And the face just isn't as cool. The face just isn't as cool. It looks like a sad dude, right? I wouldn't, it feels like a curse to wear it, you know? It's not as dope. It should have just been something very similar to this, right? Which, if I had to hazard a guess, I'm pretty sure we saw, the remastered version maintains parity between the two armor types, between the masculine and feminine version. Let's see here. But this, I mean, the masculine version is all right, so I guess I'll give it a C, right? But it's probably a lower one. Yeah, right there. No, you know what? Put it right there. No, I like the masculine one a bit. Right there. Yeah, that's good. Right between the mithrils. Because the feminine version is unquestionably a D ranker. Okay, so let's look at this, which is basically like a very very good recreation of what came before. Right? It's just that with more fidelity. Which is fantastic because it's a set of armor that has a lot of detail. Thankfully, they're able to continue to avoid the trap of this type of armor, wherein it's got so much detailing, it literally has a face in the middle of it. But thanks to the color grading of the armor, nothing stands out too much. It blends in nicely together. It works well. Even having this closed helmet is kind of weird in a way, right? Sometimes your eye gets drawn there. It's like, oh, this is weird and disturbing that I can't see like where eyes should be. There's apparently nowhere where your eyes would be, and instead draws your eyes down to this freaky face, perhaps. Either one works great. It's just weird, freaky shit. I love it. It looks pretty good. My only issue is that it doesn't look very Oblivion. I personally don't really care for this. It doesn't feel very Elder Scrolls to me, I should say. It feels very much like it's an armor set from a different ass game, right? I don't really care to wear it because of that. It's too out there. But I'll give it an A nonetheless because it does succeed at what it's trying to do. I just don't like what it's trying to do. There we are. Okay, now we are proceeding into some really weird stuff. These last four, if you've only played OG Oblivion, you may not know what the fuck are these. Well, they are exclusive to Oblivion Remastered. These are the new things that you can get. I forget if you need the digital deluxe version or whatever, or if they just come baked in with the remaster. I think it might be digital deluxe only, but regardless, you can get them in light or heavy versions. They look slightly different. One's meant to be more Akatosh associated, the Order one, I believe, and Cataclysm, of course, more Lord Dagon associated. We'll go in alphabetical order. Let's see. They look almost identical. Here's the heavy, and here's the light. So the big difference with these is that there's just less shit on the light one, right? They just took off some extra doodads, as you can see. Most notably around the like arms and shoulders, right? Take a peek, as you can see. I don't think exclusively, but most notably. Yeah. I think the Cataclysm stuff, it looks okay. Like the light armor looks somewhat okay, but it looks so not Elder Scrolls to me, right? Am I wrong in saying this? It looks so much like raid gear that you get in a fucking MMORPG, right? It looks like I'm gonna see my my dot focused warlock walking around in this, or my shadow priest in my guild walking around wearing this shit. This isn't something that I would see in an Elder Scrolls game, someone wearing. There's, like, I feel like an Elder Scrolls wouldn't have all of this whooshing off of it like that, or these poking off in such a way. Something about it just doesn't seem right. It feels like it's informed by something else that Elder Scrolls isn't informed by, and I don't know what it is. Right? I'm assuming this is like a custom creation by the folks who did the remaster, and thus we're seeing a bit of bleed in from their own, like, internal ideation here. And I just don't like it. I just don't like it. Like I said, it just seems a little too overdone. It seems too anime or something to me. You know? It's trying too hard. It lacks that simple beauty of things that we had ranked up highly before, and we said, oh, there's a simple beauty to it. Like, for instance, the Crusader armor, or Bruce of Amelians, or the Legion Guard, you know? Even when it comes to the Daedric armor, I feel like it's trying to do that, but it can't quite succeed, and I don't know why it is. Maybe it's just because it's got too many varied materials or something. I don't know. I don't know. I think I like the light armor slightly better if you take the helmet off. But otherwise, I don't even know about that. I think they're C rankers. Like, they're quite good at what they do, but man, I don't like what they do. Gonna put it right there. And the heavy one a little bit behind it. And then let's look at the order version, which, like I said, is associated more with Akatosh. There's a little smidgen of lore given to these. I think there's like a priest of Akatosh who shows up and gives you this, and the other one is like given to you by was it that new sexy summonable, conjurable Dremora, the Femme Dremora, that everybody was swooning over, myself included. I think that's where you get the Cataclysm version. Like I said, it's very simple to get. Okay. And I will say that if I catch you wearing this, if I catch you in your playthrough or stream wearing one of these armors and you're playing the remaster, I lose some amount of respect for you. Right? I don't care so much that you're playing the remaster over the original, but I do care that you're playing using the new armor, and especially this. This armor is everything that I hate about what feels to me like the in-house style of the folks who handled the remaster. It's just very over-designed. There's too much gold trim going on. I feel like all this stuff is like unnecessary. I don't like it. There's like these little rings and stuff going through here. The shoulders are like ridiculously big. There's so many layers. Why is this so fucking huge? The shoulders are enormous. It's so MMO coded. Am I wrong about that? It feels like armor from an MMORPG. It feels like you're getting some big ass World of Warcraft pauldrons, which I love that shit in World of Warcraft. I played an orc for a couple years. They got some of the biggest pauldrons around, let me tell you. But in Elder Scrolls, I just do not appreciate it. And look at the over-designed helmet. I do not care for all of this business. Here they get rid of the pauldrons, but it's so over-designed it feels like something is missing. No? It feels like you need some sort of like minor soft pauldron or whatever, you know, something going on here, right? I feel bad in saying this, but I do not like it at all. It doesn't seem like Elder Scrolls or Oblivion to me whatsoever, even less so than some of the Shivering Isles stuff, which is like its closest resemblance is some of the Shivering Isles equipment, that Madness and, well, really just the Madness armor. Maybe the Daedric armor from the core game, but I think this is way too far gone, right? Like I said with that, the Daedric armor, even in the remaster, it's the color blending that really helps it, right? It's the color blending that makes it to where, like, yeah, there's all these details on it, but they kind of blend into one another. Let's load it back up here, right? It's subtle enough, whereas here, it being like gold trim makes it pop so much, right? It's too distracting. It's too much going on, you know? I'm looking like a character from Torchlight 2. I don't like it. It's a subtle difference, but it's a crucial, vital one. Yeah. Honestly, I think it's a D ranker for me. I cannot abide by this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's even worse than the Cataclysm stuff. I really don't care for it. There's some horse armor as well, and I think that's significantly better looking than the like actual character armor for the Hero of Kvatch. But otherwise, I don't know. I steer clear of it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's not my thing. All right. Oh my God. Well, that ought to do it for now. My voice is hoarse. It's impossibly late. This is going to go up at a ridiculous time because it took so long to not only talk about this and rank these things, but I also went in for some of these entries, had to get 2 pictures, and it took a long ass time. Oh my God. Holy guacamole. All in all, very happy with the list. Frankly, glad that we could do this and include both the remaster and the original and the DLC. I'm very happy about that. And also, it's shocking how difficult it was to get some pictures of some of these, right? Whether it be for the original or for the remaster. That, like, it was wild that I had to actually go and load up my playthrough, and I couldn't just look up like masculine type Dark Seducer Oblivion Remastered and find like a decent pick. Right? But what can you do? Anyway, you know what? Maybe Legion Guard deserves to be even higher. Yeah, I think Legion Guard deserves to be the top of the top tier. Maybe even better than the Daedric. Just Legion Guard, fucking dope and iconic ass armor. I love it. Right? It's so good. All right. That ought to do it for this ridiculous ranking video. When next we return with another IRL, it'll be one wherein we answer a question. Maybe it'll be a really quick and easy question to answer to balance out this. All right. Until next time, please take care of each other.